Right, you heard this song from Green Day, Wake Me Up When September Ends. I've woken up because the IPL has woken me up. And how? My name's Avnish Shekdi, and as you can see, in the Gujarat, no, wait, that actually can't do that. In the Hyderabad, no, I actually can't do that. Honestly, get out of it. In the LSG, honestly, can't do that, man. Honestly, can't do any of this because you know why? There's only one team I support, and that is the Bengaluru team. And we're going to be talking about that. What a high energy introduction for a Monday. Hope you guys have got sorted yourselves on a Monday. And we have, of course, in the yellow corner, Nikhil Popat, who's going to be probably not crying about MS Dhoni, but the MS news going around, MNL, and Akshay, who can't wait to get into a lot of those CSK fans, including an in-house expert who we got as well. But boys, I cannot wait because the next 1 hour is all about the IPL. First and foremost, before we get into anything, how was your weekend? Because I've had a shit one thanks to my beloved Manchester United once again.
I'll go first. I've had a fantastic one. We did a proper 3-show preview for the Women's World Cup. So guys, please do check it out if you haven't already. We've previewed each of the 10 teams. We're excited about the tournament. The warm-up games are going on as we speak. And of course, Vasant, we will be talking about all things IPL today. And yeah, so it's been a fairly good weekend for me.
Great stuff. And Nikhil, how's it been for you, my friend?
It's good. Also good to see a Finch. I'm mini one, but not too big one of that. But yeah, weekend was good. Couldn't have waited more. Even more better after the day that we've seen with India. But yeah, as of now, IPL is all we care about.
Is all we care about because that's what's going to happen in the next 10 years, literally. Right? Think about 2034. I'm thinking maybe it'll be a 20 tournament like the Premier League that it is, but lots of comments already flying about in this Monday Night Live, and that's what we love. And keep your comments coming through because we're here for the next 1.5 hours. Right, first and foremost, guys, how the hell did you guys react to that news? We were all speculative about it in the previous MNLs, but right now it's in front of us. Akshay, I'll start with you.
Yeah, first of all, just relieved that the rules are finally out now. We can stop speculating and actually start talking about, what can each team do and all of that. Of course, we'll get into the specifics of each of the rules and what we think. But all in all, I feel this is a step in the right direction, especially with a couple of rules. There are a couple of rules that still need a lot more clarity in terms of how they will be implemented actually and how they'll be enforced. But all in all, one thing that I'm sort of disappointed with is the fact that for a league that is supposed to be as professional as the IPL, it just seems that every 2-3 years we see way too many changes happening. Like, I hope that, I know it's still early years that way with the IPL, 15 years is not a lot of time when you compare it to some of the other sporting leagues. But I hope that there's some semblance of consistency in terms of how the league is going to be managed going forward. And I hope this is sort of the starting point. This will be the basic framework going forward, and we don't see too many changes from here. Apart from that, yeah, excited to talk about all of them.
Next, what's your opinion on just generally, holistically, what's been decided in terms of the monetary stance from the BCCI towards its players and all the other stakeholders involved? Are you happy as a cricket fan, first and foremost?
I think I'm slightly more excited than I was earlier because of the nature of the retentions announced. And I think that is one of those biggest changes that will happen in this auction is because previously you would always have those deductions happening in lower order. So you would go 15, 10, 8 and all of that. This time around, it will be 14, 18 and again 18. So you'll have to be very, very smart to know that your third guy could still cost you 2 or 3 or 4 good players. So that's where I think they've made it really interesting that you will get a lot of players into the pool as well, but the people will retain. But it gives enough flexibility to people or teams like DC or PBKS who want a complete reset. So I think in that way, it's fair. There are a few rules which you see or you feel are a bit harsh or feel that they have now set a precedent. Okay, if this is being done for one individual, every other subsequent Indian grade is possibly going to use that, and every franchise will use that as a rule to make it for the road. So now with that will only time will tell whether other legends also use this or not. But for now, I think it's a good mixed bag. But okay, let's see.
Yeah, let us see indeed. And lots of comments, like I said, which I'm excited to take. What is the news about MS broking a TV on the 18th May? Captain Cool. Again, we're going to talk about MS Dhoni. We're going to talk about Virat Kohli. We're going to talk about all the teams in general in terms of potential retentions heading into that auction and who can do what. Like Nick said, few teams are literally looking to make wholesale changes. And of course, a few would want to keep the chunk of their team and their core. EQ Arts 1801 saying, hello, bro, it's me, Siddhant. Siddhant, thank you for jumping on the Monday Night Live, and tell a friend and the family in terms of this cool cricket podcast, which we're already into episode 47 with. Lots of strategies involved here after Indeed and Neural Hacks, Sanjay Papyagiri, and the rest of you guys joining us. Any questions, we will miss it out in our discussions. We'll definitely take it in the 12th man. We're not going to be talking too much about any other cricket. Like Akshay said, we've already pandered to the women's cricket. 3 great previews to go check it out. It's available on the YouTube page. And of course, our India-Bangladesh review of day 4, which was an enthralling one. Nix, me and Som did it about 2 hours ago. So go check that out after the MNL. Like I said, we also have a guest joining us who you guys have seen on the cricket.com network before. So I will get him on in a bit to get his thoughts on CSK and different things, because after all, he is a CSK closet fan, if I could say that. Right, but before we get that man on, few things that we just want to get out of the way in terms of the rules and regulations, because if you guys have been living under a rock, this is what it is. Point number 1, the IPL franchisees can retain a total of 6 players. Yes, 6 from their existing squad. And this can be either done via the retention method or by using the good old RTM, the right to match option. Point number 2, it is at the discretion of the IPL franchisees to choose their combination for the retentions in RTMs. So basically, the 6 retention / RTMs can have a maximum of 5 capped players, 5 that is, Indian and overseas included, and a maximum of 2 uncapped players. Now, there's more points to be, of course, thought about in terms of the money, because the auction purse for the franchisees has been set at 120 crores, 20 more than what it was the last time around. And the total salary cap will now consist of the auction purse, the incremental performance pay, and the match fees. Like previously we saw in 2024, the total salary cap, the auction purse, and the incremental performance pay was just 110 crores. So now it'll be 146 CR. And of course, we will see a steady progress in the years to come. There is more things, because I don't want to bore you with these graphics, because I want to get the guys on as soon as possible. But the 7.5 lakhs per match per player will be enticing every cricketer to, of course, play in the IPL from there on. Now, point number 5, any overseas player, remember, they can literally suffer a 2-year ban if they pull out. So lots to consider, lots to get through to. The impact player will remain. That's, of course, been voted upon with all the stakeholders involved, and not to forget the point number 6, which was pretty much the point number 4. And finally, a capped Indian player will become uncapped, the most important point, because it involves a certain MS Dhoni. All the rest of the lads will show you all the other uncapped players who could make their way in terms of this rule. Right, without further ado, let's of course manage to introduce a man that we want to bring on MNL for a while now, but here he is. I'm going to talk about IPL with him and lots more. It is, of course, Anirudh. You can follow him there, the sports geek. How are you, my friend? The CSK closet fan that we had you during the IPL.
We've done enough of the CSK gimmick, I think, right now. I think the regular watchers would know well about me and my CSK affiliations. But yeah, good to be back. It's been a few months, I think. I've been obviously following your shows. Needless to say, India won a World Cup in between the time I've last been on MNL and on cricket.com. So yeah, good to be back, and yeah, excited to talk all things IPL once again.
Right, so let's, of course, broaden this chat. And before we do so, Anirudh, the quick one from you. How do you stand on the new rules? Because are you happy with 6 retentions all in all?
I'm obviously, I believe that a mega auction should be a mega auction, and for that BCCI have played it out brilliantly. I mean, they said you want more retentions, there you go, but then you use up nearly 65-70% of your purse. So I'm pretty sure any team with any sanity, I don't think would use all of their 6 retentions if possible. I don't see any team doing that unless they want to blow their budget completely. And with regards to the Dhoni rule, I mean, it is what it is, right? I am not surprised. I think the moment there have been enough hints over the last few months that they were going to revisit reintroducing this rule, so I'm not at all surprised. And yeah, I mean, so the man goes on for another year, and I'm sure Chepauk next year, when you ping me for Chepauk tickets, I'll just say that it's Dhoni's last season again, so it's probably going to be difficult to get tickets once more. So yeah, it is what it is, I guess.
See, my humble opinion is the IPL is becoming, or is probably the WWE, right? With Jay Shah being Vince McMahon, that is actually a good analogy to look at it because it's an entertainment business. Cricket is just basically just the theme of this entertainment business. And like everyone is, of course, saying in the comments as well, subscribe and like before we, of course, move on to this IPL chat on MNL. Akshay Insider Info KL is being released for sure because they're not respecting him at social media. New RTM rule asking Shlok. We'll get into all your doubts indeed. And Saresh Saha saying only MIKKR, SRHRR can even think of 4 or 5 cap retentions. I want to know more from all of you all. We'll also put out the Monday Night Live question tonight in just a bit. But without further ado, let's, of course, do it alphabetically because we literally want to break it out team by team really quickly and what their potential retentions will be. And because we have two CSK fans, one ardent, one not so ardent. Let's start with CSK in terms of who they could potentially retain. Right. So there we have it. We think Gaikwad, Jadeja, Patirana bankers. Then you have the small matter of MS Dhoni in the Uncapped with Samir Rizvi. And the potential RTMs are Deepak Chahar, Shardul Thakur, Shivam Dubey, and Tushar Deshpande. We'll get to the other teams. Don't be distracted with the entire graphic. But CSK, just memorize those names before I throw it to Nix right now. So do you agree with that, Nix? Gaikwad, because you're captain. Patirana, because he's the Malinga in the current IPL. And, of course, the rest of the lads there.
Yeah, I think the three names I definitely agree with. That is Jadeja, Gaikwad, and Patirana, because I think they all offer different things and you need them in your setup. So the core can be built around them. The Uncapped, yeah, it does sound very weird to see MS Dhoni paired with Samir Rizvi, but again, it is what it is. The breakage is also important. I think probably 2 with 18 would probably be Gaikwad and Jadeja. And then Patirana probably gets the 14 CR bit. And I think that is where I would want them to stop. Of course, with MS, I mean, after all of this, you would assume that MS would agree at 4 CR as uncapped retention. So that is a decent, okay chunk out. But I'd want them to end at 4. Because I feel there are a lot of players, whether it is Conway, whether it is Deepak Chahar, whether it is Shardul, that they have to take a final eventual call on. There's also Moeen Ali, who perennially has been a CSK kind, but hasn't always been used in the best of their abilities. And we saw that last year as well, that Gaikwad wasn't someone who was relying on spin as much. So it brings Thikshana also into picture that how do they see that guy? So for me, it should be 3 people who are retained, Gaikwad, Jadeja, and Patirana, MS being the uncapped option. So you go with 4 slots booked, you have 2 options for RTM, and others, you have to play smart and look to buy them back. Because the advantage that you have by only keeping 3 and 4 is you'll have enough chunk of the purse remaining to even see if others are spiking those rates up. Because I'm sure somebody like a Shardul, Deepak, they've gotten a lot in the past. Will they get those again with the impact player also in the play? That is something to be seen.
Okay, so here's a question and addressing the elephant in the room then, Akshay, and time for your fireworks tonight. Should CSK retain MS Dhoni or should Dhoni retain CSK? That's a good one as well.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 ways of looking at it. Should CSK retain Dhoni? Of course, the answer is yes. 4 crore mein MS Dhoni mil raha hai. Why would you not? That would be outright stupid. Should Dhoni play? That's a different question, and I won't be talking about that.
No,
but
my second question was, should Dhoni retain CSK?
Again, same, potato, potato, but yeah.
No, that's a joke, bro. What do you mean a player can't retain a franchise? Only Dhala can. That's what I'm saying.
I wish I could try. Yeah.
But jokes apart, honestly, we've had this conversation in MNL before, right? I think a lot of people have seen that reel on Instagram as well of us debating how MS adds value to the CSK team and to the league in general. Your question last time to me was whether he'll be able to sustain himself for 3 years. Now, my suggestion was he'll play next year because obviously he wants to just give the fans a high. And then the next 2 years, it'll be like player mentor role, which again will probably be tweaked in a nice way, where he'll probably play 2-3 games and then the rest will happen. It's a transition phase for CSK, bro.
Bhai, again, 45 saal ka ho gaya. You can't transition now. The transition's already happened. You have Ruturaj Gaikwad in and once again, in that sense, Gaikwad has also been vocal about the fact that Dhoni has been clear ki boss, don't expect a lot of help from me. I'm here as a player. I'll be keeping behind the stumps, but I won't be giving you too many inputs. For the first couple of games or something, he was still helping, assisting him in terms of field placements and whatnot. But beyond that, you could clearly see that it was Gaikwad on his own. And in all fairness, Dhoni as a player, I don't think is going to cut it right now because of fitness issues. Solely that. I'm not saying कि वो player खराब है. Don't get me wrong. I am a big admirer of Dhoni myself, but that doesn't change the fact that come IPL 2025 he should be playing here simply because एक तो नंबर 8 नंबर 9 पे अगर आपका कीपर आके सिर्फ 5 बॉल खेल रहा है, to be honest, that's going to be a liability because you would want your keeper.
But why is that a liability? He's hitting five balls 20, bro. He's giving you runs.
You don't select a player to play 5 balls in an innings. There's no
why
rule.
not?
There's no rule.
Why not?
भी 5 ball नहीं होता. I'll give you a start. I'll give you a start 1 second. IPL 2024, MS Dhoni played more than 10 balls in 4 innings. CSK lost each of those 4 games. Then
But look
फायदा
at
क्या
those
हुआ?
situations. Look at those situations. The match was out of his hand.
Who
See,
said out
the
of his
point
hand?
here is-
CSK versus BC Vizag, CSK versus LSG Chennai, CSK versus Punjab Dharamshala. They
अरे
weren't
तो
out of their hands.
मैच याद करके the situation doesn't change, but the point
How?
is, see, he in the last season, at no point of time in that league, you felt he was a liability, whether it is with the gloves or with the bat. He
I
came in
agree.
and did
I
his
agree.
job.
Akshay, I
Now,
don't
whether-
understand how that's been used.
See, okay, to be clear, when I say liability, I'm not saying that he did not perform. There's a difference between the two. My point is, as your premier keeper, he has to come in earlier. अगर तुम्हें इतना भरोसा है तो
there is
भेजो
no
ना जल्दी.
who says
अरे
there is a
कौन सा
rule like
finisher
that?
19th over के बाद आ रहा है? What is this?
How does
role?
it matter
What is this
where
role
is
that
it
comes
comes?
early in the
That's their
19th over?
strategy. That's their
That's
strategy.
not a
Doesn't matter.
strategy. That's not a strategy. That's exactly my point. If that's a strategy, that's a very flawed one at that. There's a reason why CSK didn't
okay.
make it to the playoffs. How?
They did not.
I don't know if you're
Pause,
if you're okay with the
pause,
strategy
pause.
that's as flawed as that, sure, go for it.
CSK did not make it to the playoffs because of MS batting low. That is absolutely correct. That is
अरे
not the
अगर
reason they did
no
not make
अगर
it to the
धोनी
playoffs.
का बैटिंग
Except-
इतना ही
let-
अच्छा था नहीं अगर धोनी का बैटिंग इतना ही अच्छा था वो ज्यादा बॉल खेलता ज्यादा रन बनाता CSK naturally would have been in a
But
better
it doesn't
position.
matter to the team. There are other people who can contribute. Now the point here is, if you are getting a player, if he can make an impact playing less than 10 balls at a strike rate of 300, I don't think any team in the world is going to mind that player. Now, if the player cannot do it, I think MS in himself, as much as we've known him, he'll be open enough to admit he can't do it. And this is just my POV that had he had a flop last year, had he not done what he did, he would have given up. But because he found a way to keep himself relevant in terms of whatever time frame it is, he's been able to sustain himself. And I don't think 4 CR is a price that you will not want to pay for
I
somebody
agree.
like
This part I agree. At 4 CR, I'm not going to deny that at all. I completely am with you on that. At 4 crores, like I said earlier as well, CSK would jump at the opportunity to retain Dhoni. But my point is, as a specialist impact player, I don't think it's fair on the team itself because if your main player, or even as an impact player, if he's going to average 5 to 6 balls in innings, I think it's far too less. Far too few deliveries to be able to create some sort of a tangible impact.
Okay, fine. 1 second. Before I get Anirudh in here, I just want to tell you 7 reasons, and again, Tala for a reason. 7 reasons why I would keep Tala for CSK. Okay, listen to me. 1, keeping. 2, DRS. 3, just being the invisible captain and just being that person that it matters. It matters. 4, finishing, right? Because if you look at his last 2 numbers, last year was brilliant. Even the year before that, he had a strike rate of, I think, in excess of 170 or something like that. Albeit he scored about 100 runs in the tournament. Fair enough. The other 2 reasons is obviously the brand value of CSK. You have to take into those considerations as well. You have to, as much as we like it, loathe it, whatever, that is a big part of it. And the other couple of reasons I generally feel if you have his presence on the pitch, forget in the dressing room as a mentor, it just does produce 10% more in each player there. And I know you would say that, oh my God, that can't be quantified. But these are reasons why you would keep someone like that. Bro, just across sport, I know transition happens, right? Like even with United, Anirudh, when Ferguson went, we knew there would be a fucking fall in grace, right? And that will happen with CSK at one point in time. But the best way they can do it, I see Dhoni play the 2025 season, potentially the 2026 season, couple of games. He's not.
The transition was supposed. The last auction cycle was supposed to be that transition. That's exactly my
I think-
point.
No, but like
When
people
people
are
stand बना ही उसी के लिए.
I think that is the exact reason why the vibe around this is very negative. That we have always assumed since 2021 or 23 that this is his last year, where it was never mentioned clearly at any point of time that I'm going to go after this season, that this will be my last season. Now, whether we feel he's overstaying or whether he feels he's overstaying, that is a subjective call. He did not make any negative impact, so that is not a problem. Secondly, whatever Avnish has made in terms of pointers, now if he's not fit enough to keep, then it's a different debate altogether. And then maybe it is up to MS to be put his hand up and say that, dude, I can't keep for 20 overs with my knees. It's better I stay off. And that is the honesty that we expect from MS. But just because you don't feel it is a right strategy that doesn't matter. IPL
Yeah.
has so far worked with.
And guys, he has a point there.
We're all entitled to our opinions, right? I'm not
Ah,
saying it's
wrong
right or
kidhar
wrong.
hai? It is
100%.
right. But my point is, your expectations are of an idealistic way to construct a team. It doesn't work that way. And again, I'm not here saying that I'm defending. See, I have personally said this in the past as well, that of course, Dhoni is playing for money. He needs money. He could have retired even in his international career few years ago. But that is not how teams and practical decisions are taken at times. If they may be right, they may be wrong. But at this point of time, for Forcia, for the value he brings to the side, there is less harm as compared to what's been made out. Okay, and I understand the entire sentiment that when he eventually retires, will not have the emotion. Good luck if you don't have it, because that's not how everybody thinks. The people, the number of us who think of this as a negative vibe that, oh, he's playing another season, yeah, why you don't want to watch him? Don't watch him. People come to watch it. If they don't, it's okay.
Emotions and all of that aside, just one thing. Fair enough. Strategically, if it's whether it's a right call or not is subjective. I'll have my opinion. Nikhil bhai will have his. I still feel CSK as a team, I don't think will be complaining. And if even I were a part of the management, I would happily retain him for 4 crores. I'm not denying that. Probably a lot of my own bias, or I don't know how to put it, comes from the fact that clearly rules, I won't say were bent, but it's not a coincidence that the rule itself was changed conveniently when this sort of situation arose. Now, of course, you can bring in the argument कि boss BCCI को धोनी से इतना marketing का पैसा मिलता है, advertising का पैसा मिलता है, which in turn funds the league, which in turn helps all the other teams and all of that. Sure, you can come up with that argument. I'm not going to deny that, but just solely based on cricketing merit, coming up with a rule like that is very arbitrary, and yeah, I don't think it's fair. That's all I can say.
I get that, and I understand why people want to get that. And let's just get Anirudh's opinion right now. Anirudh, I mean, I don't know if you look at it with the devil's advocate lens or do you look at it from a cricket fan lens, but if you had to marry both, what is your stance in this? Would MS play? Would it be better for the league? Would it be better for CSK?
There's, I think, 3 parties which matter here. One is CSK themselves, one is Dhoni himself, and one the league. The league want the biggest brands to play, so that's clearly why they bent the rules. I think we can openly agree that they bent the rules. There's no shame in saying that at all. I think Dhoni himself will know that, right? To CSK, I think they don't mind him. Like, if they don't mind him and they think they can win an IPL, and I mean, they believe that they can win an IPL with Dhoni at number 8 and 9, and there is some tactical argument to that because they've got Deepak Chahar and Shardul Thakur last season after Dhoni himself. So if they build a team again where Dhoni is surrounded by good batters around him and some depth following him, I don't think they have a problem. And Dhoni, I mean, I don't understand why he wants to play at 43, but the man wants to play at 43, let him play, boss. I'm no problem. I mean, if I ran a team purely on cricketing merit, I would like him to be around in the dressing room, but not play. But if he wants to play and CSK want him to play, I think let him play. But the rules have been bent. I think we can be clear with both.
The rules have been bent. But you just asked right now, why would he play at this age? First of all, I think age is just a number for a sportsman like him who's been absolutely fucking fit. I understand people are saying about his knees and stuff, and it comes down to that. Absolutely spot on. Agree with Nick's over there. I know people are also citing out how he ran Daryl Mitchell out last year and his running between the wickets is also sketch. Honestly, Dhoni's always had that in terms he's denied singles to Raidu in a T20, which he ended up losing.
I agree, but वो दोनों अलग चीज़ है. But yeah.
But point is now, hypothetically, in a different world, if CSK had about 7 titles or 6 titles more than MI and weren't on level playing terms, and CSK had probably even made the knockouts last year, I think MS would have looked at it in a completely different way. I think because he's still hungry to retire on a high in terms of, oh yeah, CSK and MI are fighting it out. We've been the ultimate rivals. I want to leave it on an absolute high.
I'm just saying, if CSK hypothetically win the league.
I'm not talking. I don't know about the MI reference, but I'm fairly certain that MS Dhoni would want to retire on a high. I understand that international cricket, because of COVID and whatnot, did not really allow him or give him that freedom. But with this, it clearly seems that way. Because transition ki baat ho ya kuch bhi ho, I stand by my words that IPL 2023 final was the perfect time for him to move on, for him to pass the baton to Ruturaj Gaikwad. He's done what he could. He's already won them a 5th title now. This is the best possible time, because even if they sort of not do well in the next season, they can always rely on the fact that, boss, jo bhi ho, last season hum jeet chuke hain. It's fine. We have enough credit in the bank to sort of try and experiment. Instead, it seemed a tad bit, again, I know it sounds very harsh. It did seem, you know what, he had somewhere a part of him wanted to
win
play
the
a
league
final
in
at
Chepauk and win.
Exactly. Which is
I'll tell
fair.
you, but I don't believe that this stops in 2025, by the way, for what it's worth, because he's signed up, so I expect him to play at least 2 more years. So this year, his aim is to win this year. Following year at Chepauk finals, finish with 7 exactly. That's the dream, but that's not happening, so we'll see.
I mean,
इधर 4 में अक्षय इतना हाल बबला हो गया है, 7 तक तो अक्षय किधर पहुंच जाएगा.
अरे भाई,
but just see, I'll just give my exact POV on the entire thing, just to repeat myself. See, as an MS fan, you would always feel how you want to see him more. As a CSK fan, you can visually see him playing out of his role, in terms of he's played his importance out of the side. He's become a very one role batter in the side. Now, I am looking forward to see if he's going to be the impact player. Do they retain Conway, keep with him, and MS only comes if needed? That is also a very open possibility, that he may not start in all games, and he comes in only if and only required in certain conditions in certain games. If that is the case, I don't know, because we've seen a lot of times in the past where he's sent people up and down the order however he wants to. Now, whether Gaikwad is on board with it, we don't know. So that is something we still need to
see, because if you have Dhoni as a player like that, then the impact player rule is to allow you to have one proper bowler or one proper batter in your team, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. It will make it exactly right. Makes it tricky that it is not a one-way solution that you can do this every time.
I think he'll keep, man. I mean, he's there. He'll keep himself fit. That much, I think, pretty sure. Even if he's got his knee issue, he'll be able to withstand 20 overs of keeping for that period of couple of months. I think that much you can expect from him. Now that he's that insistent on playing, I expect him to do the work needed for that, and I think he can. And if at all he does not do well, I think we'll see what happens. I'm not going to say he's going to give up, but we'll see what happens, I guess.
But I think we can expect as much. If he feels he's not doing enough, he'll be the first one to say, I can't do it. Because then I think it will get absolutely embarrassing that if he can't keep up to his fitness, then that I don't think will be good for him and for the team.
Yeah, and the thing is,
one thing, Avnish, like Abhas, for instance, he's been talking about the fact that, no rules have been bent. This rule existed. It was scrapped recently, and that's why they brought it back. Bhai Sahab, they scrapped it because the rule did not make sense, because it was unfair. Matlab kya banta hai wo rule ka? How does a player who's played so many years of international cricket just become uncapped because he's not played international cricket for 5 years? By that logic, to be clear, someone like Faf du Plessis technically could have become, but I know no Indian players and whatnot, and Faf du did end up playing a test match in 21. I know the specifics, but it doesn't make sense. Tum international cricket khel chuke to baat.
Correct. See, I think the only reason why this rule existed is, this is my theory, is BCCI had always had a thing for people with power and players with a lot of power. This existed from 2008 till 2021 because they knew if ever we want to sell this league, it will always be on the back of few big names. Now, this situation has never come to fore even till this very year, where they feel suddenly that, and I don't know who was the first one to initiate this rule. Because if it existed, surely everybody knew about this, but there weren't enough Indian players who could be part of this. At this point of time, it's only Piyush Chawla, Mohit Sharma, and Sandeep Sharma.
Vijay Shankar.
And Vijay Shankar. So these are the only guys who are eligible for it. So potentially, this is not even at times a cricket-led decision. It's always been a very, let's try and sell the league kind of rule. And again, it's back for the very same reason. Now, this is the reason, this is why I said, this is a precedent for Rohit to follow, for Virat to follow. We don't know how long this will go on. And if this is now,
but there's just one thing. I really wish CSK had to shell out 11 crores to retain him. If you wanted to keep him, I think they should have.
And that's exactly what Sanjay was also trying to make a point in the comments earlier ago, saying, guys, the only problem for me is the rule. Dhoni can play till 100 if he wants to. If CSK want to retain him at 11 crores, I wouldn't mind it. Not this new rule. So many people are having their own opinion on it.
Like, don't you think it's a disrespect to the man itself? I understand, people think that I'm a Dhoni hater or something. I admire the guy. I still would happily say and concede that he's probably the most tactically evolved skipper I've come across. I'll happily say that. I love watching him lead a side. But that does not change the fact that you are disrespecting him by calling him an uncapped player. भाई मतलब मजाक चल रहा है क्या 15 साल इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट खेलने के बाद बना दी uncapped player?
Yeah, I mean that's one way to look at it. But then obviously the truth is he's been uncapped for 5 years technically.
No,
Yeah, uncapped. The word means
I
want to use
an
an analogy, and I already know what I know you have a feeling what I want to use as an analogy. I just won't bring that up. Does it make sense? 5 साल अगर कुछ तुम करते नहीं हो तो क्या तुम does it make sense? No,
you don't give your cap back to the system. But again, maybe the rules could have been just manufactured or done in a better way. See, it's the thing that you see with so many Indian greats. We feel everybody is overstayed. Whether it is Sachin, you feel the same for Sachin, you feel for everybody, you feel that they could have given up. But it is something that doesn't go out of the system. And I don't know what it will take to go out of the system. Because it is what it is. You see people retire from their countries and still play the IPL. It is the same thing. Nobody wants to give up on a chance to glory, a chance to win that another title. Dude, there was no reason for MS to play the 2019 World Cup. Practically, he could have been done by 2015, by 2017. But see, that is what, it is something that gets them there, but it also something that costs them from there, that it is that desperateness to get that one last, that I want to have that one last dance. It doesn't come, it doesn't come. It looks
just another, just adding to that. Just to adding to Nikhil's point here, Rohit Sharma is 38 next year, and I'm sure right now he aims to play 2027 World Cup, by which he'll be 40 in South Africa. How realistic is it for a top order batter to play and captain a team like India who would expect to win the World Cup at 40? But I'm sure that's his aim, right? And now that he's won this T20 World Cup, I think almost surely if he wants to, he'll be given a shot as long as his performances are of a decent level. And of course, he's batting as well as he has right now. But at the age of 38, 39, performances can fall off a cliff very, very quickly. But that's what he aims for. And that's how sport people work, I guess, in the sense that you always strive. If you don't strive for the best, I guess you don't reach the top. And he wants his dream ending, does Dhoni, and I don't blame him for it. But yeah, I mean, I wish it was done at 11 crores simply to keep the fairness of the league, because I don't think it makes sense itself. And I mean, I'm sure deep down he himself will have a little bit in him thinking, do we really need to change the rule for me? Because it's clearly been changed only for him. But I guess it is what it is, and let's see what happens. I mean, I'm sure he's going to get retained, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
I think it's going to be a retention for sure. Listen, guys, I mean, I need to grab this MNL by the scruff of its neck, because we've literally spent so much time on one man, let alone one team, because Santosh points out there are 9 more teams to discuss, and you're spot on, my friend. So we'll get to them. But just to close off the CSK chat and going back to that graphic before we discuss DC, GT, KKR, and we're going to ask you an important question about RCB and MI later on in the show. Who are the potential other retentions that they could see? Or be happy with that, guys? Gaikwad, Jadeja, Patirana, we're all kind of hoping, or not hoping, but like expecting them to be retained in the 18-14-11 slab. Do you guys see anyone else? Conway, anyone else? Any left field shouts from you all really quickly?
Shivam Dubey, I just wonder if Shivam Dubey will be a point of discussion. I think it will be Patirana. I know that Patirana will get retained, but they'll think hard and long about Shivam Dubey, because you can see so many franchises going big for him. But knowing CSK, they probably have Dubey in the Deepak Chahar category, similar to 21 auction, where they say, no matter how much, we will RTM him. And they calculate that he's not going to go for 18 crores, because that fourth retention would be an 18 crore slab, right? So they'd be pretty confident that surely Dubey isn't going to go for 18. Even if he goes, say, 13, 14, 15, I'll retain him, RTM him no matter what. And again, the other RTMs is kind of difficult to predict, right? Because it's on the go. I'm pretty sure they'd want Rachin Ravindra back for what it's worth. But at the same time, if Rachin Ravindra is someone they can buy outright, or let's say hypothetically, I mean, let's say they, for example, get Quinton de Kock on a cut price. I'm thinking of just a name randomly here. Quinton de Kock at a cut price here, 2.5, 3 crores hypothetically here. Maybe then they feel that we've ticked this box off. We'll use the RTM for someone else, like maybe, I can't think of anyone else, man. Tikshana, for example. Tikshana, Conway, whoever. I'm just trying to think of a different profile of player. Tikshana, hypothetically. Tikshana, Indian spinners are of rare. I mean, there are not too many Indian spinners going around. Dikshana, I'm sure, would be someone who could have a bidding war, right? If Dikshana goes in for 6-7, you can just sit back, use the RTM. And again, there's a difference to the RTM rule this time around, which will also make it a lot more interesting. But yeah, I think apart from that, CSK looks sorted.
Also with
Okay,
the
well,
Jadeja bit, I don't think he'll agree for 14. So what I think will happen
He'll be
is
him 18, Rutraj will be 14.
No, I think both
No,
will
no.
be paid 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, 18, 18,
I'd
11.
be
They'll
surprised.
go
I
that.
think they'll make Rutraj agree for 14. It's you don't want to play around with
Abhi
your
wo
purse.
nahi pata
But
hai. As your skipper,
Let's
he
see.
wouldn't want to. Na. Why would the captain of the side take lesser than someone else? वो भी सोचने वाला. He's a
No, it's an
youngster.
interesting one with CSK because historically, also, you look at that franchise, it's built on solidity. So I don't know whether they'll retain 3 and then go back with RTMs because they can buy them back at a lesser price. Another name there doing the rounds is Mustafizur Rahman because he had an exceptional first season on that track, like in Sheffield.
first
He could be
half.
first half of the season before he had to go represent his country.
I still remember when Marcus Stoinis was stonking him down. Nikhil's reaction that day.
Oh yes,
Is
I
he
remember that.
is he on mute? Is he on mute? I can't
याद
hear
नहीं
it.
है भाई याद नहीं कोई नहीं होता है.
But yeah, more questions to come in, more chats to have. But quickly, like this video if you guys are enjoying this hullabaloo IPL discussion. Let's move to team number 2 then before people start shooting us. Delhi Capitals, lad. Rishabh Pant, Akshar Patel, Kuldeep Yadav is what we think 18, 14, 11 will be. Uncapped players, they have Abhishek Porel as an option, and they have plenty of RTM options as you look. Maybe Jake Fraser McGurk, how he lit up the tournament last time out. Mukesh Kumar's been doing well. Haibuk didn't get a gig with Delhi, but the England exploits have been good. Could be a case for RTM there, and Prithvi Shaw and Tristan Stubbs fall on that list. So Delhi Capitals, lads, your hopes and expectations going into that auction. Akshay, I'll start with you. Pant is a banker. Would you also kind of think as McGurk is a banker, left field shout?
I don't see Megak being sort of, RTM, given the kind of names they already have. Tristan Stubbs is a certainty. It's a lock-in. I'm pretty sure, come what may, they are going to bring him back. Now it's all about between Mukesh Kumar, Harry Brook, Prithvi Shaw even. Who do they want to get? Jake Fraser McGurk. I know he had a fantastic first season, but uske alawa, he's been very lackluster. Beat the MLC, beat even for Australia. So unless there's no point even talking about BBL because BBL is going to happen after the auction. The auction scheduled to happen in November. So as things stand, I doubt if Fraser McGurk will be considered ahead of any of these names. But all in all, it still looks a fairly solid core that they can hold on to.
Sorry, Nikhil, would they be one of those teams who are looking wholesale changes? Because if you even want to think of building your whole team around Rishabh Pant, it wouldn't be such a bad idea, or do you still think they will persist with Kuldeep and Akshar given their T20 exploits?
No, I think they should definitely stick with Kuldeep and Akshar. They add a lot more value. And again, like we talked about for Chennai, they all offer very different things. So Pant is your captain, your keeper, that is sorted. Akshar is your actually better left-handed all-rounder that is there in the system. We can fight again later with Jadeja, but with Kuldeep again, you have a very good wicket-taking option. So that way, it's a very good and stable core to build on. And see, you can give them 18, 14, 11. I think that is pretty much self-explanatory there. And I would potentially just look to RTM Stubbs before Jake. And I know, thanks, Andy. The catch there is, how much do you trust Jake in terms of to deliver after being known in the system enough? Now he'll play enough cricket till the IPL, and everybody's now seen what he's doing. So I don't know if you can RTM him. Yes, you can buy him back. So again, we are yet to know who's the coach there. So that is something that we also need to see. And if that person brings their own preference for players. So to me, it will just be 3 people: Pant, Akshar and Kuldeep, and possibly a retention for Stubbs.
Okay, Anirudh, where are you on it?
I've heard a name about the coach potentially. I think it's going to be. I think it could be Hemang Badani, but we'll see about that. But yeah, in terms of Delhi, I think the first 3 are pretty sorted. I can't imagine you wanting to give any of Pant, Akshar, or Kuldeep away. I think they're all match winners in their own right. I agree that Stubbs is definitely going to be probably in the top 5 overseas batters in terms of cost because of the role he does, his age, and there's enough we've seen to know that he's a high quality player. In terms of the other RTM, again, RTM is one thing where I'd say that it could happen on the go, right? If someone like Mukesh Kumar comes for really cheap, you could bid for him rather than use him as an RTM option, right? Whereas someone like a Harry Brook or Fraser Mega who could go for slightly higher than hypothetically than a Mukesh Kumar, you might see the need for an RTM. And the other thing is, even before these auction rules were out, in the assumption, I obviously did not envisage the fourth and fifth slab being 18 and 14, which eventually for me most teams cannot use 5 returns in that case. I was looking at I was looking at Stubbs and Brook, to be honest, because I think if Harry Brook goes into the auction and the quality and the talent he possesses, you have him in your system, right? You wouldn't want to lose him. So I won't be surprised if Brook is really sought after by a couple of teams, especially one Delhi themselves and their ex-coach Ricky Ponting. The way he speaks about him during commentary itself, I fully expect Kings 11 Punjab Kings to go all out for Harry Brook.
But Rajasthan have been the losing bidders on both occasions.
They could. I mean, they will be in shout. But I think Ponting would go all out for him. So we'll see, because Rajasthan again, they've got so many of their own players which we'll speak about to buy back. So how realistic it is, the auction dynamics will play out. But we'll see. I think Delhi have got probably one of the best scores to retain, though, in terms of age profile and the different
it's
roles
fairly obvious for them that way as well. They're not going to have a conundrum. So to just answer Vasant's question, I'm pretty sure Akshar and Kuldeep would command a similar-ish price had they been in the auction. So that way, they know Pant 18, Akshar 14, Kuldeep 11. They all pick themselves. So they don't even have to worry about
Kuldeep could go for more. I honestly think the lack of Indian spinners quality, if anything, Kuldeep could actually go for more. So you definitely don't want to lose him.
Indeed. Karthik saying cheekily, Kochi Tuskers did not send their jersey to Anirudh? Man, whether he's got it or not, he's not wearing one. He's wearing some random jersey, which he probably would have cricketed on a Wednesday evening. Right. By the way, I know you guys are going to recognize something in the entirety of this podcast, because we've spoken about CSK and Dhoni for the first 25 minutes, and then an 8-minute Delhi chat, and then a 4-minute Gujarat chat, and then a 20-minute RCB chat. Look, I mean, that's the rather the green. That's how literally cricket works, at least in the IPL.
We'll cover everything and take questions even then.
We will take questions as well. I'm just saying there won't be kind of 10 minutes for everyone. There'll be 20 minutes for some, 2 minutes for some. I'm not going to mention the teams. You might not want to talk about that much, but you guys will get the gist. But we'll try to make everyone feel excluded indeed. Right. So Delhi Capitals, you guys can tell us as well. And like these boys said, the age profile is important to note. I just want to throw in a fascinating subplot with Delhi, because Parth Jindal has come out and said how much he would love to buy Rohit Sharma. But that's a story for another day. Right, team number 3 to talk about, and is, of course, Gujarat Titans, who we think is definitely going to retain Shubman Gill as their captain, even though he disappointed in his first season after taking over as their skipper. And then there's Rashid Khan and Mohammad Shami, the other elephants in the room. The uncapped options, Abhishek Manohar, Sadarangani, or Rahul Tewatia, or even Shah Rukh Khan. RTM options, David Miller, the man who won India the World Cup, remember, and Sai Sudarshan. Right. So generally, what are you guys going with Gujarat Titans? I think Rashid and Gill, and then all of the other business they'll do in the auction.
No, I would lock in Sai for 11 crores, because I expect him to go.
No, you've been saying Sai for like 18 crores even in the IPL before he had an IPL debut.
I know. I'm saying that Sai, I would keep Sai, man. If you hypothetically a left-hand top order, by the way he's improved, the way he's been doing across formats as well, you would expect
11,
him to go.
11 crore.
Yeah, he's an Indian batter. He would go for 11. And I'm just telling, I know 11 sounds a lot, but remember that 11 in an 85-90 crore auction and 11 in a 120 crore auction is big difference. It's basically Sai going for 7.5, 8 in the previous auction. Do you not expect a caliber of his player to go for a similar amount in the previous auction? So I think 11, you'll have to segregate it that way. And think of it, man. We'll come to Sunrisers, who have the biggest conundrum whether to use the fourth option or not. But then any top order left-hand bat, I think, especially the young especially his age profile and the fact that he's shown consistent improvements over the last couple of years, I would not want to lose him. And as far as RTMs are concerned, I think they have so many options. If they can convince any of Tewatia or Shah Rukh Khan to stay back at 4 crores, I think that'd be great, but I'm not sure it's realistic. But at the same time, if they can RTM any of the boys, Noor Ahmed, Mohammad Shami, David Miller, they've got a lot of quality players they want to RTM.
Yeah, but they're not going to be easy, bro. Everyone will fuck around with them. Sorry for my French, but everyone will take their pants down in the auction because they have a lot one. Sorry, Abhinav Manohar, Sanjay Papigiri, all you guys are just so quick to point out mistakes, but I appreciate that. Abhinav Manohar. Akshay, I'll get to you before I get to Nix on GT here. What is it, bro? Because I don't see Tewatia and all being RTM. Let's be honest. They're going to
Not
build a fresh
RTM.
Gill and Rashid.
So Gil, Rashid for sure. I'm expecting both to take a fee of 18 crores each. So Rashid would be the second sort of retention, but he will also charge 18 crores because we all know that he commands that. There's no way on earth he'll agree for a 14 crore fee because he will get more than that, much more than that come the auction. So yeah, so what I'm expecting will happen is Shubman Gill first retention 18 crores, Rashid Khan second retention 18 crores, Mohammad Shami third retention 11 crores. The reason why I say Mohammad Shami is because of his bowling abilities at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. So given that he is a great fit for them. So 7 game में अगर आपका new ball bowler इतने अच्छे से ball कर सकता है, तो they would not want to miss out on that. And also I want to believe Mohammad Shami will sort of get a higher bid than Sai Sudarshan. I know completely different skill sets, but I'm expecting Mohammad Shami to come much higher in the pecking order in the auction list itself. He would most likely be a part of the third or the fourth set, which is where fast bowlers come in. Sai Sudarshan would come in much below. He would probably be a part of the 8th and 9th set. So given that as well, I'm not expecting him to, yeah.
I'm just saying, Shami's 34. Do we consider that at all? Because there are other profiles over there that we look at and be like, this might go against Shami. But I get your point.
Cricket for a year. He isn't. The only problem with Shami is he's not going to play cricket before I make my retention decisions. He has not played cricket for a year, and I know the teams will want Shami because of the innate quality he possesses. But I'm sure everyone have got it in the back of the minds that there is a huge red flag here in the sense we don't know whether he's going to come back the same bowler. And I know that he's got extreme quality. I know that I'm sure BCCI have given him the best facilities to come back and be the same bowler he was. But then at the age of 35, potentially more, how can you really lock in him at 11 crores? I can understand if they do that, but then I would not want to do that simply because I feel there's a huge chance you can get him for cheaper.
Okay, next, let me just ask you then really quickly, and I'll come back to Akshay. I'm sorry to cut him off because GT, if you look at the options we put out in this graphic, we're all kind of agreeing about Gill and Rashid as lock-ins, right? Shami, whether he goes back into the auction and being right to match, what price will he come back at? We can only guess. Maybe 14 crores, 15 crores, maybe 8 crores, depending on his fitness. So my question to you, Nix, is will they take a punt on anyone else in that squad? There are 2 names which are guaranteed, Gill and Rashid. Anyone else you can think of? It could be left field, it could be Miller, it could be Noor, it could be Sai Sudarshan, Sai Kishore.
Yes, see, Sai Kishore is a name that you can possibly punt on, but the only challenge here is the 4th figure mark. The 4th retention, it is costing you a lot, and there is no way that you can possibly feel that my risk. And see, this is something you could do in the previous times where those subsequent retentions were smaller. And the thing that also is a problem with, not a problem, but a concern with Shami is, see, he's going to be a test specialist, and we've seen how squads have worked out and how they wanted to rotate their bowlers. Let's hope Shami is fit. He plays the BGT. But if he pulls up, then it puts a spanner into you that, dude, now we've retained him and now he's gone. It's a massive hole to fill. So I think that is something that will be kept into consideration. So to me, again, this time it will just be 2 people because I don't think it is fair on Tewati and Shah Rukh Khan to agree for 4. It's not even fair deal for them. So which is why only Gill and Rashid, it gives them an option to rebuild the side because last year also we saw very late that they promoted Shah Rukh to 4 and they tried and rejigged the batting order that way. So Miller is someone that I'll definitely RTM because what is the max that will possibly think he'll go at? Probably 7, probably 8. So I would still not want to risk, say, giving him 11 already. So you could potentially get him cheaper. So to me, just these 2 and every other guy you can definitely look to buy back.
Yeah, because if you look at how they went about their business in the last year auction, they wanted Stark a lot, and then KKR won that bidding war, and then they eventually settled for someone like Spencer Johnson, who obviously they won't be thinking of retaining at this moment in time. But then it comes back to the new rules that IPL has created, 18, 14, 11, and then 18, 14 as well. It makes you think about the auction a little bit more, how that's going to be sold with so many players going into the auction because they don't want to be retained at that cost. But good points from all of y'all. Along with Miller, who will go around same pricing, Newell Axe with Vasant, we'll probably guess in terms of how it can be managed for them. There is a shout from Shlok Badge saying Saha uncapped. When was the last time he played for India?
No, he played 21.
Oh, he played 21, right? Yeah, he played 21, so he's not eligible for that. Saresh Saha saying Sudarshan Miller.
Mohit Sharma is uncapped, by the way. Mohit Sharma.
Okay,
Vijay Shankar hai bhai, premier all-rounder, 3D player, और क्या?
Yeah, that is there.
No, but then
That is-
I would rather bank if Mohit is fit and ready for one season. Also, I would happily pay that amount for. I know Ahmedabad specialist, but I'll do it.
Auction में सस्ते में मिल जाएगा. I don't see him
See,
going
the
for a
problem
lot.
with auction is the problem with the auction this time around is everybody will know who they're after. So
Yeah, and it's
everybody
too
will
unpredictable.
necessarily, and it's true. You can't bank on people.
No, and
coming back
Akshay, you
quickly.
and me know as RCB fans how many teams in the past have just played mind games with us, bro. They're not even going for that player, but they know that Malia is raising the paddle and Malia is just anyway like 2 whiskeys down, so he's just like anyway doing it. And RCB is paying ridiculous amount of money. So my point being,
मोहित शर्मा लेकिन कौन वो रिस्क लेगा बताओ मोहित शर्मा के साथ.
this auction will be literally be poker. I swear to God, it'll be poker. Where
especially with the RTM rule. RTM rule, the fact that you can come back and you can increase your bid.
Yeah.
Like
Correct, that's it. So sorry to cut you off, Anirudh, because me and Akshay was talking about the exact same point, right? And let's take Virat Kohli as an example. Obviously, he'll be retained by RCB, but in case he doesn't, and that's blasphemous, and he goes back in the auction, and RCB want to exercise their RTM rule for him, which is stupid, because obviously if you retain Kohli at a cheaper price, that's anyway redundant. But point being, what Akshay was telling me was, if they lock in, say, 30 crores between two franchisees fighting for him, RCB can then come in and then name any amount of money. It doesn't have to be 30.75. It can be 40 crores straight up, right, Akshay?
Yeah,
I'm looking at especially Abhishek Sharma and Riyan Parag. We'll discuss about them when it comes to Rajasthan and Sunrise. They've got huge decisions to make.
Yeah, and so just to sort of clear it out, it's not incremental. So, for example, taking Avnish's case, if Virat Kohli is being bid for by KKR in Lucknow and KKR plays the winning bid of 30 crores, RCB then can exercise the RTM where they can name the amount. They can say 40 crores, and if KKR are unwilling to match it, then the player comes. Then Virat Kohli comes back to RCB.
Around. Actually, you got it other way around. It's when at 30 crores when RCB raised the paddle, it's with RCB at 30. But then KKR have the option to say, I want to give 40. Yeah. And at that point is when RCB can choose.
Correct. The losing bidder basically can name the amount.
Yeah.
And by the way, someone asked Akshay in office, how much would you pay for Bumrah hypothetically if he was going the auction? Akshay said 60 crores.
That wasn't the question. Bhai. Question ye tha, would you take Bumrah in your team for 60 crores? Question ye
We'll know it in November how much he's going to get paid for. Don't worry.
But 60 crores for a player is ridiculous, guys. Come on, that's half your...
I'm more than happy to empty half my purse for Bumrah. Simply put, I'm more than happy. He has
so the rest 24 players will manage with the 60 crores.
24 नहीं चाहिए ना भाई, 17 player चाहिए, 17 player 60 crore. ठीक है.
So what? You'll have like Priyam Garg opening and all of that stuff, and then Bumrah.
He'll have Nitish Rana. He'll have others coming in. So
I'll happily take
Nitish Rana, Ashwin, and Bumrah in one team, and everyone
and
else.
Manoj Bhange, Anuj Raut keeper.
Manoj Bhange, yeah.
But okay,
Abhinav Manohar. Forgot about Abhinav Manohar also.
The chat is deviating as usual, but we're almost into 1 hour of this MNN, and it's going to be a long one. So, of course, get in your dinner and like the stream and tell a friend about it, because we're going to take your questions and we are going to, of course, talk about the remaining teams. AJ Ragnarok saying all kinds of things. He said this earlier, saying, just joined. Have you guys covered all teams? We've done 3, 7 more to go. The fourth is, of course, the champions, KKR, no Gambhir, but lots of head scratching for them to do. Is Shreyas Iyer worth 18 crores? Will Narayan be, of course, thought of in terms of being retained for 3 years in terms of his age? Some would say yes. You see Tahir and him play in the CPL, so you would say Narayan can go the way as well. Rinku is, of course, a great KKR asset, but the way he was used last year, debatable, and Andre Russell has been KKR through and through. So here's what we feel about KKR, even with their uncapped and RTM options over there. I'll throw the discussion open to Anirudh here, and then Nix and Akshay. KKR, how will they go about their business? This is the champions we're talking about. So again, someone like Shreyas Iyer, how much do you retain him for, bro? I don't think he's even worth 11 crores. Forget 18.
I think KKR, Sunrisers, and probably Mumbai were the 3 teams who desperately asked for more retentions, and BCCI and Jaisha just said, here you go, take it for 75 crores. And they're in huge trouble. I mean, I cannot see how you can go for retention 4 and retention 5, man. It's just not viable. I mean, if they do it for the sake of loyalty and the fact that they want to have players, I think the rest of their squad is going to get screwed. And as far as choosing 3 players, I don't think it's possible. I mean, they will keep Shreyas Iyer. You have to keep Andre Russell. You have to keep Sunil Narayan. But then what do you do with the Rinku Singh? You have to keep him as well. You have to keep Varun Chakravarti. You have to keep the likes of Harshit Rana, who's going to get capped in the next couple of weeks. So they're in trouble. But personally, I would keep Russell, I would keep Narayan, and I'd keep Rinku and say, Shreyas, don't worry, boss. No matter what, we're going to get you back. But we just cannot give you 18 crores right now. Because
But
Rinku Singh will go high.
that's unprecedented in IPL history that a winning captain.
And one more point, and just one more point to add to that. If sources and reports are to be believed, Venki Mysore was the one who actually came up with the idea saying, why don't we have 0 retentions or just 1 retention and come up with 8 RTMs? Do KKR go that way? I mean, again, but they would 100% have gone that way if the RTM rule was the way it was before, where you just raise the paddle the moment the bid is done. But then right now, with the fact that you can come back, say for example, an Andre Russell, say Delhi and a Mumbai are bidding, and Mumbai have him say for 15 crores. If Mumbai really want him and KKR raise their paddle, Mumbai could go 20, but I mean that's the retention amount, more than the retention amount, right? So you're trouble in the sense you'll only be able to keep those 3 or 4 players again. So they are in huge trouble. I don't know what they can do. There's no practical, there's no realistic answer to it. I think they'll keep Russell and Narayan and they'll keep Shreyas. Unfortunately, I think we're going to see Rinku Singh in the auction. Unless they want to screw themselves. Unless they want to screw themselves and say, okay, sure, we'll pay 62 crores for 4 players. Then if they do that, then good luck to them.
Yeah, because Nikhil, how much, again, are they like Delhi? They don't have a coach yet. They will probably get a coach before the mega auction. I know there's, of course, Chandu Pandit over there, and who was pretty much
Dwayne Bravo.
Hands-on. Bravo's joined as well. So what do they do? Because Narayan, Russell are keepers. Shreyas and Rinku fall in that twilight area where you want to keep them, but you can also get them as a cheaper price. So how do you kind of look at KKR?
I have a very left-face suggestion for KKR. I don't know if they'll do it. Just do one uncapped retention and send everybody back to the auction. RTM everybody.
Why not do 2? You can keep Vaibhav Arora and Ankush Raghuvanshi /
I would not want Vaibhav both. I would probably want to just keep Harshit. If he's uncapped, so definitely Harshit. That is locked for me at 4.
We expect him.
I would also want
3 fast bowlers. So he's getting capped first.
Yeah, so Harshit. If not, Ramandeep is an option that I want to retain as an uncapped option. Because a lot of huge potential. Just do that and have the entire purse open for you to try and match whatever the audience wants to give you. Because I don't think Shreyas should get 11. Even if he goes in the market, yes, if somebody desperately wants it, yes, then you can get it. But then can you just say that they are 11 pe rakhne ke liye, who are you keeping at 18 and 14? And I don't think Russell at times with the usage. Now see, Russell last year didn't bowl as much. So the usage is changing. And for once, by normal logic, I don't expect Narayan to work again. If Gambhir comes back, I don't know.
Hasn't worked.
So that
the IPL hasn't worked either.
Exactly. So again, if something happens, yes. So I don't feel the amount that you will eventually pay, it is in excess of 60,000. It is worth what you are likely to get from Narayan, Russell, and Shreyas and others. So to me, I'll just keep one uncapped guy. So that is sorted, and then I can have 5 cap retentions. Then whatever the price, maybe I have to be happy with it. If I'm not happy, like the example you gave, but if you think Russell, and see, even in all this, you have to have 2 people who you will break the bank for. Maybe one of them is Russell, but you will not possibly do it for Shreyas, maybe not do it for Narayan. So it's up to the franchise, but to me, just having that one option will be very handy, because then you have a lot of purse. And remember, KKR have in the past spent a lot on certain individuals only. So they do not mind going that route by having just a strict 16, 17 member squad and just have a lot of big purchases lined up. So to me, that is how I'd go about it, and not worry.
The only problem is the emotional connection of them having won the IPL. How do you do that? That's the only problem. They've been a successful franchise.
That is something.
But that's what you paid money to make decisions for. I mean, Venki Mysore and co.
Yeah. Exactly, and they will also cite Mitchell Stark and how they paid 25 crores, but eventually it was money worth it. And I don't think Stark's even in a conversation in terms of retentions. But Akshay, I just want to get your quick KKR perspective before we move on to the other teams. The way I see it, and I like how Nick sees it completely different in terms of just have one uncapped player and then just go absolutely gung-ho in the auction. How about this, right? Your Indian players, Shreyas, because he's your IPL winning captain, fuck it, give him 18. 14 go for Rinku. Harshit Rana will play, bro, so he will not be uncapped, I feel. So you buy him in at 11, okay? Then your 18, 14 go to your respective stalwarts for KKR who won you bloody 3 titles, right? Your Russell and your Narayan. So 18, 14. Your uncapped comes in terms of Ramandeep or your Ankush who has age on his side. So they have all 6, and then they'll build from there. Do you see it more
79 crores, boss. 79 crores.
I know, and then you have 41 crores, but you have your 6 starters for sure. You have to figure out your rest bits and bobs. So, Akshay, where do you stand in it?
I mean, see, I know they would want all those 6 names back, but paying 79 crores and nearly 70% of your budget is not wise because you're not sure of how you'll fill in the other gaps, how you'll plug them in. Andy Russell's not really bowling that much. Shreyas Iyer himself hasn't been in the greatest of form as a batter. Sunil Narayan ka bhi pata nahi as a batter. Will he sort of be able to do an encore of what he did in IPL 2024? So, given that these 6 names itself have a lot of questions that will be answered only during the IPL. I don't think they would want to take that risk. The way I look at it is, I understand where Nikhil is coming from. Probably these 5 players, Rinku, Shreyas, Andre, and Sunil, sorry, these 4 players would not cost 61 crores should they enter the auction, but that's still a very big punt to take, and they have to be brave enough to be able to do that. What I personally think I would do is have Russell at 18, Narayan at 14, Rinku at 11, and take an uncapped player with me. Go into the auction with about 59 crores remaining, no, 69 crores remaining. Tell Iyer ki we are going to RTMU.
It's more than 69. It's actually 53 plus 20.
Done.
73 crores.
51 crores done, right?
If you keep 3 retentions alone, it's 43. 18 plus 14 plus 11, 47. So you've got 53 plus 20. You've got 73.
Yeah.
So that's a significant amount of.
And I would sort of assure Iyer ki boss, we will go for an RTM, and bhai, agar koi usko 18 crore de raha hai na, to jaan.
Then le lo.
Yeah, ले लो as in दे दो, मतलब दे दो कि हाँ ठीक है भाई, तो ले, तुझे 18 crore में चाहिए, clearly you guys want him more. Captaincy के लिए options है भाई, मतलब they don't.
One second. I just want to bring up one name, which is of course brought up in the chat. Varun Chakravarti. He's got the nod for the Bangladesh T20 series, so obviously they're thinking of him as a potential India player. Forget KKR player. How much will that be a conversation in the KKR think tank with Varun Chakravarti? Is he an RTM for you guys?
Him and Harshit, everyone falls there. Him, Harshit, Nitish, Venkatesh, boss, they have so many. You can Phil Salt, even Mitch Stark to an extent. I mean, they have all of the 11 players are worth.
Yeah, Phil Salt can be.
Depends on the price. Depends on the price, I'm just saying.
I don't even think Stark is registering himself. But one more thing, Varun Chakravarti is definitely someone they would have ideally liked to retain, but barring the 11 crore slab, I don't think 14 would be a bit much, and 18th, of course, is out of the question. So given that, they would happily RTM him. I'd be very surprised if they let go of him completely.
Yeah, indeed. By the way, some random questions coming in. Rahul saying we won't take this right now. We'll take all of these random ones.
12 crores, sir.
12 crores.
Rahul, it'll be 12. Yeah, done.
It'll be 12. And plus, you guys feel free to ask us any question. We'll take them in the 12th man segment for sure. Don't worry, Gigi won't give up the cap to
I was capped there, bhai. World Cup खेल चुका है, आप उसके uncapped होने का टेंशन मत लो. Santosh, he's a capped player.
And Santosh, I expected better from you, bro. Like, you're like, what the hell? Like, you went with a quiz. You went with a quiz with us. So I was expecting better from you. But look, it's been a start to your week. We'll get more comments right now in just a bit. But I want to move on to the 5th team. We're halfway there, guys. So it's pretty much a long M&L. LSG, indeed, is a team that we want to talk about next. So there's lots going on with who they could potentially retain. KL is one of those names. Puran is definitely one of those names. And Stoinis, who played a blinder like Anirudh spoke about earlier in Chepauk, will also be one of those names. Uncapped, Badoni, Mayank Yadav, and Mohsin Khan. RTM, Krunal Pandya and Ravi Bishnoi, because they've been part of the franchise. So where do you guys stand in this? First and foremost, what is with KL? Has he come back to RCB? He's going to be retained by LSG. He's had a meeting.
Spill the beans.
Yeah, come on, Akshay.
To quote the great Pankaj Tripathi from Gangs of Wasipur, Sharam kar lo. And again, of course, मैं तो पहले से ही बोल रहा था. So in my defense, at least this time around, I've been vocal. Why on earth are you jackasses talking about trades when there's no trade window that's going to be?
It's not about the trade. You think KL will be sought after by RCB in the auction? He will, right?
I would be surprised. I would be surprised if he isn't, or if RCB don't go for him. But LSG, जहाँ तक मैं समझता हूँ, at least I don't think LSG have, मतलब we don't know yet. So as things stand, you would want to believe कि LSG would retain him. Your premier India batter, opener, keeper. So solves a bunch of, I won't say problems, but ticks a lot of boxes. So yeah, you would want to retain him. And
he's not getting retained, man. He's not getting retained.
Crick Shubendu saying KL to RCB will be great for him. Don't know about RCB. Sarai Saha saying LSG will retain Puran and Mohsin. That's all. 18 plus 4. Let's start with Knicks here on LSG then, because Rahul Singh also saying this Knicks. Puran 18 crores, Stoinis 14 crores, Bishnoi 11 crores. Then Badoni and Mohsin is uncapped. I don't see KL getting retained. Again, entitled to your opinion, Rahul. Let's see if Knicks agrees with that. And what do you think the Super Giants are going to do with Justin Langer still keeping his job?
First is decide on KL because that I think decides a lot of time and a lot of value. So if KL stays, I think the two retentions will just be KL and Puran. KL at 18, Puran at 14. I'll definitely retain both Badoni and Mohsin Khan. Mayank Yadav is someone who I feel I can buy back. Again, it's a call, it's an eye test thing, whether you want to pick Mohsin, whether you want to pick Mayank, both are injury prone. Whoever is your favorite, you can pick that way. Because I think those two are crucial to them. The Bishnoi bit is where I feel KL's decision is important. Because if KL goes out, I for some reason feel Bishnoi will also go out. So that I think becomes a good package wherever they go.
But
So
why do you
if
say that?
KL
I mean, those two.
They came together to Lucknow. It was KL who
Yeah,
brought
they
him.
came together to Lucknow. They've retained in that way, and also I feel
RCB
sometimes
need a
you
leg
have
spin.
that. Exactly. So it's a match made in heaven that RCB need a captain, RCB need a leggy, and you'll get two of them.
He need a
directly from
keeper.
there.
सब चाहिए अपने को,
Anuj
सब
Rawat
चाहिए.
hai, but ठीक है. Let's not get there. So
But one more
if
thing.
KL goes, yeah, it's so if KL goes, it's only three: Puran, Badoni, and one of the pacers.
Okay.
All I
Okay.
see Stoinis at 11 is still a value add. Like he's worth
But it'll
11
have to be
crores.
14, right? If it'll have to be
No,
14.
KL Puran, both are
If
there.
KL is not there, I think we're pretty clear that it's not going to be KL. But I think it's all.
See, the only problem there I feel is if you go with KL also, then I think Bishnoi gets 11, which I don't think then allows Stoinis to get 18. So there I feel Stoinis might be a good RTM option for them, and they have a lot of good people that they can RTM. So to me, I feel they'll have to keep that option open, that have just three people retained and have three RTMs handy for you to buy back people.
I think it's going to go LSG's way. I don't think Harshit Rana, beg your pardon, Mayank Yadav is going to play a single ball of that T20 series.
There's
So I
only
think-
three pacers in the squad, and what we've seen with both Gambhir and Dravid, once the series is sealed, everyone gets a cap. I expect Nitish Kumar Reddy, Mayank Yadav, Harshit probably starts in the beginning anyway. So I fully
Okay,
expect.
point being, I think they might do this. I think KL will stay. So KL 18.
No, not saying.
Then-
KL not saying, man. KL is
I
insane.
genuinely feel
No, fair. I also believe he is. Yeah. But
Yeah, and with this Bishnoi, like Nick touched upon it, is such an important aspect in terms of being an Indian spin bowler who's good. Will get 14. Krunal will get 11, and then 18-14 for Puran and Stoinis.
No, boss, you
बहुत
finish.
ज्यादा
Your
हो गया।
team is over. No,
बहुत
हाँ,
ज्यादा
मतलब
हो जाएगा।
तुम कृणाल और बिश्नोई दोनों को मिला के 25 करोड़
Yeah.
देना मतलब की बात
Too
नहीं.
much.
You're better off RTMing them. You're better off taking
Or
that
just,
risk.
or just spend 32 crores, bro. Just spend on 18 on KL
Rahul and
and
Puran.
14 on Puran.
and
Fair,
do an
that's a fair
uncap.
shout.
Keep Mohsin for
And then
4.
uncapped. You'll have to keep one or two uncapped because they are great.
I'd
people.
keep
And
Mohsin and Badoni
to
for
buy
sure.
back, because I don't think you'll be able to buy back them below 6-7 crores.
Yeah,
Both Badoni
both
and
Mohsin and
Mohsin,
Mohsin.
they'll go at a lot of.
But एक चीज अगर राहुल और पूरन दोनों retain हो रहे, then Stoinis has to be retained because at 11 crores that's a fair price. That's a very fair price for
agree.
him.
I
Then the call is, between Stoinis and Bishnoi then, whether
Yeah.
they go Stoinis 11 and they go Bishnoi 18, because if KL is there, okay, yeah, fair, ठीक है, that is
One
also
second.
fair.
I have to take some of the comments right now. Krik Shubhendu saying Badoni and Puran are must, should be playing at 3 or 4. Interesting. Newrelax with Asad saying 18, 14, 11. KL, Puran, Stoinis, 4-4 for Badoni and Mohsin. But Ashutosh Bajpai, who is an LSG fan who I remember from our times doing the watch along last year, goes on to say, guys, 18 for Puran, 14 for Bishnoi, and 4 for Badoni. Let's play with RTM and bag Mayank. So basically, I don't think he sees KL in his plans, which, okay. I
No,
understand.
he's asking. He's
He's
saying
saying
he should be RTM.
But if
Okay,
KL
got it.
goes into the auction, beats के नीचे
He's
नहीं
not
मिलेगा.
coming. He won't coming. He's not coming to LSG again. He's not
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to LSG again.
If
It's
he enters
obviously
the
man.
auction, I highly doubt LSG will buy him back. And भाई तुम अरशद खान का नाम नहीं है, मोहसिन खान का नाम नहीं लिया. मैं मतलब आशुतोष भाई क्या चल रहा है? मतलब आप मोहसिन में आपकी
LSG's next captain is going to be one of current Mumbai Indians players, 100%.
No, Puran. I think
Not Puran.
it'll be Puran.
They'll go all out for Rohit or Surya. Whoever leaves Mumbai. Probably
रोहित के लिए भाई रोहित के लिए at least 3 teams are going to come all out. You can't think.
But Lucknow will go the hardest because I'll tell you they need the brand value the most.
Okay,
See,
we'll
that's
see how those
the big
subplots
yeah.
unravel. But basically, I think I agree with some of you boys, and so be it. I know wishful thinking, 11 crores for Krunal Pandya. Maybe I was just kind of speaking a little bit too much, but it's better than being factually wrong, Santosh Sharma. Relax, I can get KL, and if not, Mohsin is there, but Mohsin is very unfit. And Shlok Badge saying, Zahir, also don't speak great about KL and Cricket Plus chatter. I don't know what that show is, but cricket.com, mate. Cricket.com is indeed it. New names also joining the comments. IPL is not a serious league, saying Anand Umbre. It is done with compromised principles. Amazing, happy realization. And I literally want to give you a
देखो
same.
जैसे अवनीश ने कहा ना मैं अभी मिस्टर मैकमैन देख के आ रहा हूँ at the end of the day it's entertainment we all want entertainment so couldn't as and it's
See,
not
this is the comment that matters.
Exactly. Exactly. You've taken the words out of my mouth, Nick. Because people will still watch it. Even if they make a rule, IPL 2025, every cricketer just plays in their chuddies. Right? Everyone will still watch it. Everyone will still watch it.
कुछ नहीं बोल सकता था Avnish you could have said anything and this is what he thought of this
Just to be
but
comical.
Vasant's comment is an interesting one about KL that's an interesting
He won't go
point
for
because
20. I think I'll tell
He
you
won't
just
go
one
for
thing. Just
20. bro.
I'll tell
He
you.
won't.
I think IPL teams are smart enough. I 100% he go above 10. There's no question about that because of the fact that he's a potential captain, keeper, batter. He's got quality. End of the day, he'll probably fall somewhere between the 12 to 14 category. I don't see
but
him
I
going
feel
above
RCB
10.
would be willing to go up to 20 so maybe they might
RCB are the team who will probably end up getting him if your sources
See,
from 6-7
I
months
don't-
ago is right.
We'll go to 25 for him, and then someone will buy him. Like how we went for 20.25 for Pat Cummins, and someone stole him.
Because if you go for that long bad comments and if you don't take KL route, then the joke should always be forever on you. Because with KL, you get a lot of long-term value. You get a lot of things with KL route. So if you're looking for a long-term call captain option, keeper, opener, batter, intent merchant, जो भी है,
local
whichever
boy,
you
all
take.
of those things, brand value, everything, all those boxes
कुछ मिल
also
जाएगा.
get.
20 is a fair
My
price. to
favorite word, Nikhil, intent merchant.
Fair enough. Guys, let's of course show some intent with speeding on in this show because it is my prerogative to zoom on and talk about the rest of the teams. Ayush Agarwal, we will of course get this sorted, but subscribe and like and of course share, tell a friend about cricket.com and also tell us the MNL question, which I've just been barking for a while right now. We've been asking you guys this throughout subtly, but are you guys happy or not with these new rules? I know it came out for the mega auction. Does it make the auction more enticing? Does it make the tournament even better? Tell us right now. That's the MNL question tonight, amidst the other chat that we want to have right now. Let's move on because I think Sanjay Papigiri pointed out something very important. Get to the real teams quickly, bro. Most entertaining team is PBKS, which let's talk about MI then, because Punjab literally are the ones which follow after them, but MI first, and it is so much to talk about because if you look at their capped players that they'd want to retain, we're not even adding Rohit Sharma,
Who did
bro.
the
Like,
graph? Boss, where's Rohit?
where is Rohit? Akshay, where is Rohit? You prepared this list. You start with MI, please.
Yeah, I will. So to put it simply, Rohit, Bumrah, and Pandya, all three will want 18 crores and nothing less. They wouldn't. Sky is still someone who would be fine with 14 and under the table and whatnot. So these three players would want 18, and between these three, it has to be Pandya and Bumrah over Rohit Sharma. So and also given everything that's gone down between Rohit Sharma and this side, yeah, I'd be very surprised if he sort of decides to stay back. So given all of this, I think it'll be Pandya, Sky, then I have Tilak Verma, and then I have who do I have? I have Jasprit Bumrah, and then I have Ishan Kishan at 14. I don't. So clearly, MI are in love with Ishan Kishan. I don't see him not being purchased back. They bought him for 15.25 last time around. So 14 crores that way is, if anything, some sort of a discount. Bumrah is worth his weight in gold. So 18 crores to kuch nahi hai. Pandya aa hi jayega 18 crore, same as Bumrah. And then in terms of the two names in Tilak Verma and Sky for 14 picks himself. And Tilak Verma also the same thing. Tilak Verma at 11 crores is completely worth it. Has long-term potential, left-hander, middle order, solves a lot of problems for them, adds a different dimension to the batting line, to their batting lineup. Uncapped options, I've gone for Nehal Vadera because I don't think Akash Madhwal 4 crore ke liye, would be a fair price for him. I feel he'll be available for far lesser in the auction compared to Nehal Vadera. I feel Nehal Vadera would go for far more compared to Akash Madhwal. I'll put it this way because it's an either-or situation. They have to choose between the two. I think it'll be Nehal Vadera.
I remember all those years ago in some auction, they did RTM all their players back. I think Krunal was RTM back at one point in time. And
RCB
Emma
bought Krunal.
Correct. That was a strategy, right? So you mentioned a very good point there because the egos in that dressing room, and rightly so in terms of the T20 exploits they've done over the long period of time. So no one will want to settle for lower slabs. So who are the must-haves for Mumbai Indians then? Anirudh, I'll start with you here. Why is Rohit not even in the conversation? Or do you think because of what went on last year and how he was apparently treated badly by the management, his wife put out that Instagram post, which was kind of a cryptic one, all of those things considered, do you think Rohit is definitely leaving Mumbai Indians, whether it's LSG or Delhi or KKR, or
Punjab?
do you see it differently? Or Punjab, or do you see it differently?
I think the World Cup win has changed it a bit, and the fact that Surya Kumar Yadav is India captain right now has changed it. I cannot see Surya Kumar Yadav and Hardik Pandya being the same team. I think it's only one of them. Either or both of them will want to be captain, and the moment the other one isn't the captain, he leaves. I don't see both of them stay. Surya Kumar Yadav is the India captain. Hardik Pandya is the 100 crore project Mumbai Indians had, and they brought him in. So they have to make a decision: either drop the 100 crore project or drop the current India captain. I don't see both existing.
I'll play it safe. I won't be too controversial. 100 crore project Hardik Pandya. Clip करके डाल के tag करो. I'm just speak on.
अनिरुद्ध, ऐसा बोलना अच्छी बात है. उसके बाद ऐसा बोलना कि 100 crore प्रोजेक्ट है, ये सही नहीं है.
I mean, you were talking about Pandya's figures under the table, right? Or you talking about some Coastal Sea project, which is
it is what it is, I guess. So yeah.
No, but jokes apart, why do you actually see Sky and Hardik being split by the MI management? Those are two pretty much
not by the management. They would want to be.
They won't stay, man. I don't see that happening. I think it's clear. I don't want to take out names again, but there have been many sources which have said that they're not staying together. There's no way they stay together. Jasprit Bumrah, I really hope he leaves Mumbai, but I just think they will do anything and everything to keep Bumrah. So, I mean, they can't give him captaincy because they're already going to lose one of the two between Sky and Hardik. So, they don't keep him. And if Sky stays back and Hardik's project is dropped, then you could see Sky's retention. I mean, Bumrah's retention 1, Sky's retention 2, but as captain. And I mean, I don't think Mumbai want to lose Rohit, the brand value either, because see, you're definitely going to lose a huge amount of your branding when it comes to the current India captain if you lose him. And for a fact that despite him potentially not being worth the potential amount he goes for in the auction, whatever it is, 17, 18, 19, I don't see a number below that. Teams like Punjab, Lucknow, even Delhi and KKR would definitely want that kind of player because of two factors. One, he's got the brand. One, he's a great captain, right? So these are two big factors, and both of these teams would want someone like Lucknow, especially Lucknow and Punjab, two teams which really need a brand, which really need potentially a captain as well. So I could see both of them going all out for someone like Rohit. So that's the case here. So would Mumbai Indians want to keep him? They would. But then I can see a situation where Rohit says, my legacy at Mumbai continues if I stay here, and the fact that I don't play under Hardik, as in the project fails. So Mumbai lose. The moment they admit that Hardik is not the captain anymore, the project has failed, right? So Rohit in some ways gets the win, at least publicly. So I could see a scenario where he agrees to play under Surya. I don't know what happens eventually. I think what would likely happen is Hardik, Bumrah, and either Tilak and Kishan stay, and maybe they keep Uncapped Vadera. But if there's a team which can spend all 79 crores before the auction, that's Mumbai Indians. Because they will think that they're worth, and I understand why, but there is no way Surya Kumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya, and Jasprit Bumrah are playing for the same IPL team next year. At least one of them will leave Mumbai Indians.
So wait, what are your 5 names, to be clear? Who are your 5 capped retentions?
My names? Names, I'm not reading 5.
What do you think MI will retain, or what do you think will eventually happen?
What I think will eventually happen is Bumrah will be number 1, Surya Kumar Yadav, the captain, as number 2. Rohit Sharma, I think Rohit Sharma or Tilak Verma. I don't know who out of these two. It's very close, but I'm going through. I think Rohit Sharma stays. I think Rohit stays. I think Rohit will likely stay if Surya is the captain. So I think Rohit will stay, and they could keep an uncapped of Vadera. I don't think.
So just 3 capped retentions and Vadera.
Yeah, because Tilak is not 18 crore player, man. Like, he's great.
So
You cannot lose. You cannot spend 79 crores, boss. It'd be ridiculous.
I know, but again, you're talking about really established, proven players that you can spend 79 crores for, bro. That's a difference here. You're talking about world-class operators. All those 5 names.
Rohit Sharma is 38.
I know, and people will say, look at his IPL record.
Mumbai Indians are a team looking to win. Other fact is Mumbai is a team which wants to win, not Punjab. With all due respect,
you can't put a number to that. It's not just
No,
that.
I agree. So because there are 2 slabs of 18 and 2 slabs of 14, I think Emma will exploit that rule in a way that Hardik, because he's a captain, will get 18. Sky doesn't have that much of an ego, even though you insist that they will be separated. I think Sky will take the 14, right? Yeah. And then the 11, they will do something with Ishan Kishan, Tilak Verma, something like that. The other 18 will go to Bumrah, and the other 14 will either they'll not have someone for 14 and they'll have these 4 retentions. That's the way I see it.
But I think all of Sky, Bumrah, and Hardik are staying. I think Rohit staying or going is simply his choice. I think whether he wants to stay, I think it's completely his choice. Because he, I'm sure, knows that he's not going to command an 18 or 14 crore retention realistically. I mean, in the auction he will. In the auction he will go.
That Rohit Sharma, the player, isn't worth it. I agree with you, but
no. I'm just saying, even from Mumbai, I don't think Mumbai can afford to give him 18 because they've got already so many other issues to solve when it comes to Hardik, Surya, and Bumrah, and those 3 are the priorities, right? And realistically,
that's going out.
No, that's true. That's true. I mean,
it's just a brand value factor here.
And value, and that's the thing where Ambani will come in and have a good look at his options. I just want to get Nick's thoughts here.
Surya and Hardik are in the same, so one of them have to go. One is an India captain, the other is the incumbent.
There is a rumor that Rohit might exit MI. What are the options is CSK next? Would you take that? It would be Luis Figo going there pretty much like Madrid, Barca. Will that happen? Rohit going IPL?
I don't think, and I would not want it to happen personally. Looking at how Rohit's time has been at MI, I would want him to see. There are 3 people who I don't think should change franchises ever: MS, Kohli, and Rohit. I think these 3 define legacies of the IPL for the right reason. So they can stay there, and I'm sure they will eventually find a way out. What I feel is next year there might be trades. So whatever trades don't happen this year, whether it is KL Rahul, whether it is Rohit here, I think another season is definitely on. Unless something absolutely mad has happened, then I think, as Anirudh said, they'll split this up. Otherwise, for me, it was all the same way as you said. Bumrah gets 18. You have to manage Sky and Hardik at 14, which is fine. Rohit and Bumrah get 18 each. And again, you can possibly say whatever they want to number out. But I see all of them staying. Kishan is probably, I don't know whether they want to keep or they want to RTM. So I think 5 capped is what they should stick with. एक uncapped भी कर लिया तो then you don't have any RTM. So that is the only call that I feel they need to take. That do they want to go 5+1 or just hold back at 5 and see how things go?
Yeah.
Just one thing they could potentially also look at all 3 of Hardik, Bumrah and Rohit at 18 crores. मतलब slab के ऊपर दे दो किसी एक को, and then Sky at 14 and Tilak Verma at 11. Then maybe they don't even go. I
think there is no room that if you're retaining all that, there isn't room to keep Tilak also, because then there isn't enough room.
I'll just add one thing here. I think they had all of these guys in the team last year, and they had a bunch of they had a great squad. We can all agree, whether they performed or not, they had a great squad, right? And there's a reason they came 10th, never mind 5th, 6th, 7th. They came rank bottom, and we had teams like Punjab and who had bad. RCB for the majority of the season had really bad season, but even then, I mean, RCB made the playoffs. I'm just saying that Mumbai were comfortably 10th. It was not even a question. I mean, someone like Delhi had a poor start and then they made a comeback. Someone like Punjab had great wins. They had the famous win at Eden Gardens and all that, right? Whereas Mumbai were ranked bottom throughout. There's a reason. Even if they manage to keep all of these guys, and if they do manage to keep them, it costs them 80 crores or 120. Is it really worth it if you're trying to win the tournament? I don't think it is, because I don't think they can coexist. There's a reason they did not come together, man. There's 100% going to be.
Are they even trying to win the tournament?
Mumbai for sure is a team that will try.
Bro. They will spend a lot of money just to get it right. But
boss,
again,
the reason that project also happened, boss. Come on.
The irony in life that an RCB fan is asking, are Mumbai trying to win a tournament?
No, but 100%
Mumbai want to win, man. That's why I'm saying someone like Lucknow and Punjab, with all due respect, they can afford to get Rohit just to build the brand. Whereas you may still win the IPL with Rohit. I'm just saying at 38, it's slightly less likely if you spunk that much of your budget on him. Whereas Mumbai want to win. And the fact that these guys coexisted already, and it's all a year later. I mean, Hardik has had his injuries. You've got Mumbai. It's not me, Shlok. It was Akshay. I'm not comparing Mumbai with RCB. But yeah, so my perspective is, I think realistically choose between Hardik and Surya, beg Bumrah, and keep between Tilak and Kishan, your choice.
Okay, interesting. But guys, I just generally feel with all you guys watching, I hope you guys are sincerely listening to us day in, day out, because this is Monday Night Live. And I know you guys love a good IPL chat, and that's why we're here. Quickly like this video, subscribe to us if you haven't already, and tell a friend about cricket.com. And of course, follow us individually if you guys like our opinions and us not holding back. I was with Akshay until he doubted MI's intentions to win it with a bright red black jersey, and many other people saying the point is Rohit can be made to stay with the promise of chunk from performance being increment. And I think there was another point saying performance being
20 साल का लड़का नहीं है, वो खेल चुका है, वो 18 साल के, he doesn't need a performance incentive.
And that's what even Chandan Rame is saying, right? So look, with Mumbai, only time will tell whether they will retain Rohit, whether they will spend that kind of money for the rest of their great Indian names. Only time will tell. But how do you spell this guy's name? I'm Sip10 RCB. We will talk about it, man. You've just been absolutely clogging the chat. Don't worry, we're going to get there slowly but surely. Team number 6 then to talk about, or 7, beg your pardon, 7. 3 more to go. So the 7th being Punjab Kings. I generally think none of those names will be even retained. They're going to be literally keeping 0 people in terms of retentions. I know there's Sam Curran. I know there's Livingston. I know there's Arshdeep Singh, who potentially is the only one I feel can be retained by Punjab Kings. There's Prabsimran Singh. There is, of course, Shashank Singh, and the other name of Ashutosh Sharma, which comes out. Jitesh is there. Harshal Patel could be a right-to-match option. So there's good names to consider for Punjab, but I genuinely feel they will start wholesale. Ponting is their coach. What will he do? Akshay, I'll start with you.
So yeah, the names for retentions, of course, I've just mentioned those names as potential options and someone who are, and these are players who are worth those respective, prices. So Sam Curran at 18, Liam Livingston at 14. He was bought for 11.5 in the 22 mega auction. So, that way, and given the kind of potential and value he brings to the side, he is someone who Ricky Ponting also rates highly. And Arshdeep at 11 is a fair shout. Local guy, bowls well, left arm angle and whatnot. But personally, if I were a part of the Punjab management, I would probably just go ahead with 2 uncapped retentions and Prabsimran Singh and Shashank Singh, and then take it forward from there. I'd more than happily RTM any of the players I can and just sort of wing it. So to say wing it as a not मतलब कि कुछ plan नहीं करेंगे हम लोग सीधा auction में जाके करेंगे. Plan कर लो कि क्या-क्या options है, but as in when each of these names come out, it's game theory, yaar. It's casino, it's poker, we know. So you have to see how these options are coming in and what price are they going at. Liam Livingston, they can have a floor set, they can have a ceiling set. If he goes beyond the ceiling, they can chuck it. If he's below the floor, then buy him outright. If he's in between, then they can RTM him. So they can always have these options open in front of them. And I feel that'll be their best way forward. But yeah.
So if you have to give me one name, okay, I'm putting a gun to your head now, Akshay. Sam Curran, Arshdeep. Who's a better retention?
Sam Curran. For 18 crores, it's Sam Curran.
Okay. And Arshdeep, does he stay there only again? Sentimental value, all of that?
Not just that, he offers actual value more than just sentimental value. He did well at the death. I know he was expensive, but he was actually one of the best death bowlers this season as well. And bhai, India bowler hai, matlab dilayega tumhe you've invested in him. He is your homegrown talent as well. So I'd be very surprised if they let go of Arshdeep altogether. They'll most likely RTM him at the very least. That is, nahi to retain kar denge outright at 11 crores.
Okay, let's go to Anirudh. But before I do go to him, of course, Nick's opinions about Punjab and the Indian core. Generally thinking of names out loud. Prabsimran Singh, Jitesh Sharma, Harshal Patel's there. Well, mentioned Arshdeep, Shiki Paji, if he wants to, of course, continue, come back. U-turn.
He's not Ben Stokes. Let's respect.
But next, jokes apart, Punjab, because Ponting wants a captain as well. I know Akshay said Sam Curran has captain last year, so that is an inevitable choice. But do you think they'll go for someone like Steve Smith and then build around them?
I would be disappointed if Ponting goes for Steve Smith and makes him captain of Punjab, to be very, very honest with you. I mean, given that you've already seen Sam do well, there might be a bias from my end because I've always found Sam far better captain for Punjab's usual standards. So to me, if he's thinking of wanting to retain 3, I'd probably go Sam at 18, Arshdeep at 14, and Livingston at 11. I think that gives me a good core to work with, a solid depth over option, a power play bowler, a guy who's a floater, and a Livingston who can be my all-rounder, do the Maxwell job for me. So then that is sorted with 2 uncapped retentions. Now, if I don't get Livingston or Sam, I can retain Shashank or Ashutosh. Probably Shashank first, because Ashutosh, there are things that you want to work with him with. And I would also throw in the name of Harpreet Brar. So that I think completes a very good set. It can even be 4 of them or 3 of them. And I won't be surprised if they go the Akshay route, that they only retain Shashank and Harpreet, and then everybody back in the auction. And let's try and get them at a lesser price. Because I don't think Arshdeep at 18, it's okay. If you have to spend that much to RTM him, it's fine. But it's a risk that you take with the market. So if I want to retain only one, I'd probably retain Sam, but that's my bias because he gives you a lot more option, but then he has to be used well. And if at all, very open thought, if at all Rohit is coming to Punjab, I would love a Rohit and Ricky Ponting pairing as captain and coach. So that is all.
2014, 15, 16 in mind.
Yeah, reunion over there. Anirudh, I want to play devil's advocate right now with Punjab, right? Are any of them worth 18 crores, bro? Let's be honest.
Just one question, just one thing for me to think. I'm retaining any of Shashank and Harpreet Brar. That's my choice. I would pick Harpreet Brar over Prabh Simran because I think it's harder. Yeah, he went for 4 crores even in the previous mega auction, and I think it's hard. No, he went for 4. I checked before coming, so he went for 4. So he I think it'll be harder for you to buy Harpreet Brar over Prabh Simran, and potentially if you're looking at someone like Rohit, you really need a Prabh Simran as well. I mean, you could get a completely different opening pair as well. Harpreet Brar with left arm spin. See, because of it, Akshar, you expect to get retained. Someone like Jadeja is going to get retained. Maybe Krunal is the only option, that left arm spinner, Indian left arm spinner.
Left arm spinners बहुत सारे हैं यार, बहुत.
Yeah, I know there's Sai Kishore, there is Manav Suthar, but I'm just saying
इतने सारे left arm spinners है that RCB took Swapnil Singh and introduced him in the worst way possible.
अरे भाई जितना वो जो चाहिए बोल दो. Shahbaz Ahmed है, there's Manav Suthar you mentioned, there's Vicky Oswal.
I'm just looking from the perspective, I don't see any of the 9 teams saying Prabh Simran Singh is a starter for me. I don't think any of them would say I need Prabh Simran Singh in my team. So it'd be easy for me to buy him back. Of course, I'm not saying he's going to be cheap. They'll want him as a backup player because he's shown his potential. But I'm saying no one's going to say I want Prabh Simran Singh as my opener. So that's my perspective. And the other thing is, the only question I have for Punjab is Arshdeep Singh, being the local boy, being the fact that he's been with you for 5 years, is he worth 18? I really like you, Arshdeep. I definitely am going to RTM you, but I am not going to give you 18 right now. If he goes for 18 in the auction, I'm going to RTM him. But right now, I'm not going to RTM him. And I'm not keeping any of the other boys. I mean, RTM is a completely different chat altogether. You've got Livingston, you've got Harshal Patel, you've got Jitesh Sharma, you've got so many options to play with. And that's something Ponting will look at. But I expect a completely new captain, potentially an Indian captain for Punjab next year.
I think it's going to be a little bit of a pretty punt in terms of the auction table of the Punjab, because I generally feel 120 crores to play with in terms of the wholesale historic evidence that they've given us. How many times have Punjab just retained 1 or 2 and then built their whole squad around it? They could
every
go
time. Every time. 2011 0, 2014 2, 2018 0, 2022 2. No, 22
Correct.
was 3, no 2. Just Mayank and
Only 2. Mayank and Harshdeep, yeah.
Correct. And that's, of course, a sign of their instability. It also is a sign how many times they've changed coach, let alone captain. But I genuinely hope that Punjab at least gets stuck into the tournament, let alone the auction, because they have a few great uncapped players who they can write the match and all of that. But again, with the auction dynamics, so there will be other teams just, again, sorry to say, fucking about with them in terms of their bids. The onus is now on the think tanks to actually think at the auction table. This will be the toughest auction yet. I absolutely agree with you. I hope Sky goes to Punjab saying Anand Dumbre. That would make things interesting. And Indian captain, maybe somebody like Nitish Rana saying SD.
ID से Akshay Kumar Swamy बोल दिया मैंने निखिल भाई, tension मत.
Sahi hai. SD also saying Jamie Smith as keeper and more names. So
Jamie Smith.
Jamie Smith.
अरे selection खाली ODI series के basis पे selection नहीं करना है.
Right. Time to talk about, of course, RCB then, because we are into the last 3 teams of this IPL 2025 auction chat before it all unfolds. Maybe in November. We've still not got a clear auction date, but it will happen during the BGT, before the BGT, something around then for sure. Right. So time to talk about RCB and who we got. Who are we going to retain? Kohli is there. Wow. Surprise, surprise. Camo green, because we do need to, of course, have a good all-round presence. Rajat Patidar, why can't you retain him? Because he's been fantastic, the spin basher. And then Mohammad Siraj, who I kind of disagree with. I know it's a choice that Akshay has made. And then his beloved Yasdayal is the uncapped, who could be
No, I
capped.
think he's safe.
Graphic
He's
designer
safe.
को थोड़ा गाली दूंगा बाद में, but to be clear, it wasn't 4 names. It was only 3 retentions. It was Kohli Green at 1 and 2, and either of Siraj or Patidar would be retained, with the other being told कि RTM करेंगे. Not Siraj at 80. Neither of them would be, worth 18 crores. So it'll be either Patidar being retained and Siraj potentially being looked at as an RTM option, or Siraj being retained and Patidar being looked as an RTM option. But I think they'll go ahead with 3 retentions, with of course our beloved Yashdayal being the uncapped retention.
Yes,
So
so
what's
will
next?
be uncapped. I think it's
So
safe.
So your retentions are Kohli 18, Cameron Green 14, and 11 Patidar.
Yeah, Patidar or Green. I personally want Patidar because I think he adds more value to our lineup with that exceptional spin hitting skills. But even Siraj is fine because he's done well at the Chinnaswamy. He has RCB blood, to put it very simply.
Fine. So that's basically 43 crores out of the 120 that you think RCB should basically spend
Plus
before the
4.
auction.
47.
Plus 4 on Dayal.
Yeah, Yashdayal. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying if Dayal gets capped, then there's
then
no
it's
other
He
option.
won't. There's no chance of him getting capped. I'll tell you. There's only 2 test matches before October 31st.
Bangalore
And anyway, India have got these 3 seamers, and there has been enough talk that Shami is potentially going to play one of the couple of test matches at least. Yashdayal is not making his test debut during this period. So
I hope, but I don't know. I don't know.
So unless a concussion substitute or something incredible happens, Yashdayal won't make his debut before the retention.
Virat Green, Siraj Singh retention, Saresh Saha. No, I don't think so. And what about people like Will Jacks, Akshay?
Potential RTM options. Maxwell तो नहीं है, मेरे लिए नहीं है. I don't know if RCB would consider him. But for
RTM
me,
option for Will Jacks, how much are you willing to buy him back for?
not more than 7-8. That's the max I'm willing to go. Uske alawa, because at the kind of batter he is, there are plenty of options available, and I say plenty while exercising some caution. But yeah, there are enough options available out there. There's Phil Saul, there's Fraser McGurk if you want to. I know, not at the same level, but aggressive intent machines who can sort of go and attack in the power play. There are decent options out there, so it's okay.
Okay, Anirudh.
Just one thing. I think RCB, as you mentioned, I think it's going to be 3+1. Virat, Green are nailed on, and the 4th one is going to be Yashdayal as an uncapped. It's a very difficult decision between Siraj and Patidar. I think, how do you even make a decision between those two? Because one, Rajat Patidar offers something very few Indian batters offer: right-hander who can hit spin, who's more than a competent player of pace, and he bats at 4, 5, 3. He could bat at 3, but likely to be batting at 4 or 5. And you've got Mohammad Siraj, who's behind Bumrah, you'd still say is one of India's premier fast bowlers. Of course, he's got his issues. He's probably not the most consistent you'd want him to be. But if you let go of Siraj, will you even get him back? I don't think you could, unless you blow the budget. So it's a very difficult
How much
call.
is Siraj?
The answer for this question is, if I know I'm getting KL Rahul, I'm going to get Patidar back. I am going to get Patidar back. But I'm keeping Siraj for now. And I retain Virat.
1 second. To get in the bigger question, lads, because obviously we, in all our heads and in all RCB fan bases, maybe 1% will say retain Faf. That means obviously RCB don't have a bloody captain. So now the question is, do you want Virat to lead? Because you're spending 18 crores for him. Will Virat return as RCB captain? That's the question.
No chance.
He won't.
Then who else will you have?
You have to buy a captain. That's where someone like KL Rahul is actually going to come in. Again, हम KL Rahul इतने confidently बोल रहे हैं कि भाई आ गया. वो मैं चूतिया था last time. इस बार नहीं.
But like Markram is what I suggested. You said it, fucking Nitish Rana, bro. Markram.
अरे मैं नीतीश राणा नहीं बोला. अरे गधे मैं नीतीश राणा नहीं बोला भाई. In passing, that was a passing thought. I was thinking out loud.
No, you were adamant saying it. I can ask you right now.
Okay. I'll just.
He even said Ashwin captain.
Exactly.
Ashwin was a frontline option. I seriously considered, not Nitish Rana. Nitish Rana was ऐसे ही passing में बोल दिया.
Okay, but why do you think? But why do you not want Virat as captain?
It's not that I don't want to. I'm saying Kohli won't. I know as in we know for a fact Kohli won't come back to captaincy. He doesn't want that responsibility. He wants to play as a player. Simple. If he
So
wanted to,
none
he
of
would
the-
have gotten captaincy earlier.
So none of the retentions that we potentially might retain are captaincy options, obviously, right? We
Yeah,
can
see,
force-
I think there's two options. I don't think RCB have to worry too much about captains. I think there will be potentially you're going to see at least one of Rohit, Surya, and Hardik, and you're going to see KL. You
Enough
blow your
said.
budget on one
इसका
of these.
कैसे अटक गया है?
One of these three guys and KL, you're going to blow your
But-
budget anyway, boss.
No,
You
wait.
ideally-
Before we get to captaincy bit as well, in terms of retentions as well. So given that Siraj and Patidar is going to be a very tricky proposition, ki kisko rakhna hai, the way I look at it is, at least in IPL, the perception is that Patidar is a grade A batter. He's done very well against men. He's shown that already. He's done well knockouts, maybe century mara. So that way he's ticked a lot of boxes. But with Siraj, the perception even now is that, okay, you know what, he's still not a T20 specialist. He's not a T20 bowler. I think there aren't too many teams who would be willing to bid for him in excess of 15, 16. He'd still go for 10, 11, 12.
He'll
But
go
I'm more
for,
than
the
happy.
point is he'll go above 11, he'll go below 15. Between
He
11
can,
to 15.
yeah, that's still
Yeah.
a win for us. That's still
Yeah,
a win for us.
I agree. It's
One
just that
second.
you're worried
Is there,
when you
is there
rate.
any merit? One second. Is there any merit in just keeping Virat and then building a whole team around him?
Because
Green
Green,
Patidar बहुत
Patidar
ज़्यादा
are definitely Green, Patidar, Siraj, all are going above 11. No, 100%, all three are going above 11.
No,
Why
but
would
my
you-
question is, like how these guys are also saying in the chat, why need Green and Siraj and Patidar? Just keep Kohli and then buy all new players.
Can't, man. You can't do
Not
that. Because
everyone
they're
can go
genuine
big
proven players, right? You're genuine proven players. Unless they get a inside information saying Bumrah is leaving, then you say, okay, Virat Kohli is number one and we're going to build our entire team, as Akshay said, 60 crores bid for Jasprit Bumrah. Then keep Kohli, bid 60 for Bumrah, and then build your team around the others for 40 crores.
No, I mean,
Also, one
is
thing,
there-
Abhi, it's always the case of, one in hand is worth two in the bush. That uncertainty is something that's going to play on everyone's mind. So they would
And
want to have...
40-11 is really good value,
Yeah.
right? It's genuinely good
Exactly.
value for
Yeah.
Green and Patidar or Siraj.
some people even saying, I don't want to keep Virat. Tanvir, tell us why you don't want to keep
Screw that.
Virat. I mean, is there any
don't-
merit to even say that?
No,
Is there any merit?
no.
Because he's got the orange cap. Like Nick said, he doesn't want to see certain players go away from the franchise. So, Tanvir, what do you mean by saying that? I mean, unless you just want to create some attention in the chat, if you actually have merit to back it up, please back it up. And also,
Yeah.
I'm sipped in. Stop it, man. You've made your point clear. I'm not even joking. This is a chat for everyone. You can't just keep clogging it. I understand that it helps us with the algorithm, and thank you for that because it makes our chat more populated. But say more things than this. It's honestly frustrating to honestly take other questions as well. I want to get Nick's involved just quickly. And I'm sorry, we've banned you. We've never banned anyone. We've banned him. Honestly, we banned him. Rules are rules.
Maybe Howzzat question for some other episode. Who was the first ever viewer to get banned from an episode?
Rules are rules. Nix, where do you stand in RCB? And who are your 2-3 retentions? Tell me that. Because Kohli is one. Who are the others?
See, I'm not too sold on anybody else, to be very, very honest with you, because I don't think Siraj, for all that, he's shown enough to be saying, see, you can give him, it's your call, you're a franchise, you can do whatever you want to. But whether it is worth the 11th year for the returns that you get, I don't know. I see it as this a very good option for you to rebuild, because see, with Green also now he's gotten injured in that ODI series. And he, say whatever you want to, he will always be...
Sorry.
Very, very, very disappointed on
Yes.
that.
I'm sorry, bro. This Tanvir is... Oh, my word.
We would see what Abni just said. 60 crores. Someone's going to bid 60 crores genuinely for Virat Kohli.
Hey,
Oh, my
16,
God.
physical नहीं होगा.
Okay, 45. Okay, 45.
So Nix,
40.
go on, Nix.
Yeah. So my point is, you keep Virat, and see with Green also, Australia will always micromanage it. So I don't know whether that's a good punt to make, but I agree with the price range that 14 is not at all bad for a long-term project option for you. So if you're thinking very, very realistically, probably Virat at 18, Green at 14, Siraj at 11. You can swap Siraj or here. With Patidar again, you can RTA. I don't think you can spend more than 20 plus on Siraj and Patidar. I don't think it is as worth it given the returns that you get. You can RTA him always. So to me, I'm happier to keep that option open, because if you think of it, how much do you think Patidar will go for in the option? I think max 8 or 9. I don't think he's going to go higher than that.
Okay, I just add to Nikhil's point.
No, that's a good point, Akshay. 8 or 9, yeah. Max 10, 10.5.
See, he's done well, but it's not that he's cracked the league open entirely. Last year,
I
also
agree.
he
That's
played
why
still
I
well.
would tend.
But that
I
was
would
also
go
leg
towards
spin
Siraj.
only.
No, but that's what I'm saying, right? If you don't see Patidar getting 14 or more in the auction, there's no point retaining him.
No, for 11.
And the other thing is, okay, just to
11
add
you
to
can
Between
keep
Nikhil's
it.
Patidar
point,
and Siraj, I'm fine. Between Patidar and Siraj, I'm fine. Whoever gets retained at that third spot. I just
we're just
don't
talking
want
11.
RCB to have a fourth rotation. Yeah.
The other thing,
Exactly my point.
if
Yeah.
Green's
There is
issues are
nobody who's
genuine, right? If Green's issues are genuine, then we'll do what Nikhil said, in the sense Kohli stays and you build a completely new team around him. You
Agreed.
can get RTM and all that. But then if Green is available and you know that
then you
his
keep.
issues are just temporary, because he's got so much value to add, and he actually adapted to a role which I did not think he'd be able to do. He batted number 5
I
last
agree.
season.
I agree.
Very difficult role. And his bowling, which was not used a lot by Mumbai, was used a lot by RCB. And surprisingly enough, his bowling was a lot more impressive than his batting, which in itself was pretty decent. I know it's extreme, it's a long-term project, and the thing with Green is, if you let him go, I don't think you can buy him back realistically, because it'll be difficult, because you want to keep Siraj and Patidar over. Funnily enough, you'd rather buy, you have alternatives for Green, is my point. You can buy a Will Jacks or a top order
Oh,
overseas
no,
batter.
no,
Whereas-
sorry. I don't
I
think we
thought
have
you were
enough
saying Green
any
could have-
option. Other way around, because
No,
there
you
is
can build
no
a team. I'm
option.
saying that you can find a new way to build a team. I don't think
I don't
see
think you can find a guy to replace Green at any spot.
Yeah.
The only reason
Yeah,
why I
I'm
would
saying
never
you build your team completely differently. You don't have like an overseas all-rounder slot. Someone like, you build a team
But
in a
that's a
different manner.
then.
Then
See,
you build
it
it
works
from
with them.
scratch.
RCB have tried a lot of overseas options in pace department, and none of them have clicked as good as Green in their very first season. So to me,
That's
the
why
only
I'm
reason,
keeping Green. Unless his issues are serious, I'm keeping Green.
Same
And
thing
because
for
of
me.
that, I'm keeping Patidar and Siraj also. I'd rather keep that 11
So
crore. I
4.
don't have a problem. I'm going 3 only, Patidar or Siraj. I don't know who out of those two. It's a very tough call.
Yeah.
I would
I'd
go
go
for Siraj.
Patidar more. I understand why Nick said Siraj, because he went batter all-rounder bowler in terms of Kohli, Green, Siraj, and that makes sense because that's at least the fulcrum of your team, and then you can build around it. Lots of new names entering the MNL chat. Good to see. Pratan Chabra saying some experts are saying Kishan for RCB's captain. Having a laugh, mate. Are you having a laugh? Alan James enjoying the show, saying, do you think RCB's think tank will be able to build a bowling lineup from scratch? Achilles heel. That's the important question. With Mo Bobat still there, Akshay, and I'll come to Anirudh in just a bit. What do you think his thinking is? He's seen this team for 1 year. He's seen Virat win the orange cap. He's seen them crawl into the playoffs and then, of course, fall flat against RR in that eliminator. So do you think RCB pretty much have a good team and they just need to add? Or do you think they, of course, will just retain 1 or 2 or 3 and then take it from there?
So, firstly, wasn't the biggest fan of the squad itself. Something we all spoke about when the auction happened as well. But one thing I genuinely respected was the fact that even before the auction, Andy Flower and Mo Bobat were very clear that they're looking to build a team that's going to score in excess of 200 more often than not. And eventually, they, of course, it didn't help that in the first 6-7 games, they were still struggling with the 11 and all of that. But eventually, in the last 7 games, they did identify that 11 and they stuck to it, and we saw what happened. So I'm expecting something similar in terms of how they're going to construct a squad. They're going to build a squad that's going to bat oppositions, that's going to look to bat oppositions out of the game, given that they'll be playing 7 out of their 14 games at the Chinnaswamy. So I'm expecting 4 to 5 high-intent batters, a replacement for DK. So someone like an Inglis is actually a great option they can consider. Then there is, of course, the likes of Will Jacks, who if they can bring back, it'll be great. And so Phil Salt is another great value add because he's also a keeper, so that slot will be taken care of if Inglis doesn't come in.
Indian keeper like Jurel.
Agreed. जो मैं बोला है bro, मतलब IPL के टाइम पे पूरा चिल्ला के बोला कि Jurel would be a great replacement for
That means obviously Rawat will be binned, right?
Why are you even asking that? Like, why
no,
is that even a question?
Raj Bharti is saying, do you know Anuj Rawat will be picked by RCB? I don't think they'll be going back for him.
I hope Mr. Malol and Rangaraj. Again, no disrespect to the guy because WPL jita hai bande ne. But yaar, ab men's cricket mein matlab.
No, and that's why I think Santosh should have asked a good one, and you can answer this. I think you know the date, right? Do you know the date?
No, he's still a part. He's very much well and truly a part of RCB's scouting team because I saw him. Maharaja Trophy mein अच्छा खासा देखा था उसको. था वहाँ पे.
Interesting. Guys, look, there's a lot more we want to discuss with the next two teams, but Anirudh just wants to finish up with the RCB
just one
chat.
point, with RCB. The only reason I'd keep, unfortunately, Siraj over Patidar is because if I keep Yashdayal, right, so I close off 2 Indian pacers. I don't have to go all out for an Indian pacer in the auction. Of course, you buy those who are cheaper, but I'm saying you don't have to like blow your budget for a 10, 11, 14 crore Indian pacer, of which there will be many in the auction. So at least I ensure that I've got Green, who's an all-rounder, I've got 2 Indian pacers, and I've got top order batter in Virat. You solely focus on building a lot of Indian Indian as well as overseas batters in your lineup, and it again gives you a lot of flexibility the way you want to use your foreign slots. You could see RCB go for someone like Tikshana. I mean, because very limited Indian spinners, Chahal, Bishnoi. I can't think of anyone else who comes into the auction as a leggy. Noor Ahmed. I'm just saying Indian. I'm just looking at Indian. Because of that fact, you've got like the likes of Tikshana, Noor Ahmed, so many exciting international spinners coming into the auction, right? So the fact that maybe even Hasranga is back at RCB as well. So you've got these different options. So from that perspective, I'd say that I'd lock these 2 Indian pacers because that gives me flexibility with the other overseas slots and go all out for getting Patidar. I will get Patidar back and a bunch of other Indian batters and overseas batters.
Just last question to all the 2 RCB fans. Do you RTM Fav?
Ooh. For how much?
No.
2 CR.
Uncapped South Africa.
Yeah. I wish uncapped hota, but
I don't think you can. I don't, unless you intend to make him as a starter and a captain again. I don't think it's possible to retain Fab just for dynamics perspective. He himself will not want to sit back, even as a non-captain or even more as a bench player. The dynamics won't work out. So you move on because see, he's been the captain. He did a really good job, but the problem is 40. You cannot invest him in for another 3 years, and you're not dealing with a character here. It's a human here, right? It's an actual human. I'm sure he will back himself to be RCB captain again, but you will have to make the decision from another perspective. And you can't say that, boss, you come to us, we really like you, we got you for 3.5 crores, very happy. But the point is, we've got KL Rahul in our team, who's going to be our captain, and we've got, say, hypothetical Will Jacks. Will Jacks by then would have established. So you want
I genuinely admire the confidence with which Anirudh ke dimag mein already auction wo wala KL Rahul wala ho gaya.
KL is back. KL should be retained by RCB. KL should be retained by RCB.
Hypothetically, whoever that's applicable, whoever is captain, whether it's KL or whoever it is.
One second. We're deviating. Akshay, final one. If Pant, Rahul, Nitish, and Ashwin are available, who do you want RCB to go for?
क्या 4 option है भाई? पंत कहाँ से आ गया? पंत है तो पंत, of course पंत. क्यों?
Not Rahul. Not Rahul.
No, of course between Pant and Rahul, I would pick Pant.
And what about Pant and Nitish Rana?
इसको मैं उठा के मारेगा कल ऑफिस आओ उठा के मारेगा चल.
Let's move on from RCB. Lots of more comments which we'll just quickly take before we move on to RR and then SRH. I'll be interested to see Jacob Bethel in RCB. I mean, yeah, for sure. And it's amazing how everyone still calls me Avinash, whether it's in the comments. It's Avanish Padle Bhai. Avanish. Where the hell is it? Yeah, Avanish Hegde. It's not Avinash. And Chandan Ramay also said that earlier. So Chandan, Shlok, all you guys, please just call me as my name, Avanish indeed. If Hardik is available, would you retain Green? Insane.
Yeah. I maintained this even before last cycle began, that Green, I think, like Mumbai are actually getting the rough end of the bargain by going for Pandya over Green. I genuinely think
that's okay. Chandan actually disagreeing with you, saying KL is way more astute than Pant as a captain.
प्लेयर का भी तो सोच लो, सिर्फ कप्तानी थोड़ी ना करना है, बैटिंग भी करना है, कीपिंग भी करना है, लेफ्ट हैंडर है, मिडिल ऑर्डर में आता है, वो भी तो सोचना पड़ेगा ना अपने को. But fair, I'm fine. KL भी आए तो I'm fine. I'm not complaining.
And that whole South Indian versus North Indian thing starts now. If Somesh is watching from Amsterdam, please do tell us about it. Aravali Avnish, yeah, that's exactly how you pronounce my name. Hey, Avnish Tenak getting sacked. Not going to get sacked soon, mate. Not getting sacked soon. Hopefully not, at least. Right, enough of the football chat because we still have to kind of showcase a few more things to you. Rajasthan Royals next because we have, of course, Nick's wearing the pink right now. So we'll start with him. Nick's, those 3 names come to mind. Potentially, another name over here we've not added is Riyan Parag. So Samson, Jaiswal, Pakka. Parag also, or do you see Butler?
Yeah, I don't think it is as easy. Again, the problem is the fourth retention being 18th here. So that call will have to be really very astute. That it would have helped had Paran being uncapped, because then that would have been a steal at 4th here. Sorted. But as you said, I think the 2 are locked in Samson and Jaiswal. And I don't think they both care about the number there. They'll be happy. Samson 18, Jaiswal will not mind any number. Whether Joss is good for 18, I don't quite think so. So maybe I'd possibly put Rian at 11 and then just be stopped there. And then just wait for everybody else to come into the auction and then look to buy back people because there is Ash. But there are a lot of teams looking out for a captain so that he'll not come at a at an easy price for you. So for me, everybody else will have to be an RTM.
Nix, I just want to ask you this before I get Anirudh and Akshay's opinion about RR. How much do you value someone like Chahal? And the reason I ask you that is, isn't he a tempting option to just get his 11 crores? Indian spinner, taking the most wickets in the league, still has age on his side. So you have Sanju, 18, as your captain, 14 is Jaiswal as your explosive opener, and then Chahal. So you can buy back Parag.
Yeah, but the problem with Parag is I don't think he'll come cheaper than 1450.
Okay.
He will easily go at that rate because, I mean, lot of time. There's a lot of future in long-term investment with him. And see, with Chahal, if you put Chahal out in the market, last time I know he went at a very cheap rate. Even if he goes double of that, that is still less than 11. He'll probably go at 8 or 9. And again, he's not been in the Indian setup. People are wanting quick respite. So that is also a challenge that you have to manage. And all of this is due to the market rate of 18 CR as the fourth rotation. If it was lesser, then 100% you can probably try and secure both Butler and Chahal if you can. But I think the fact that, again, it's the same combination. Your captain is sorted, your opener is sorted, your gun middle order batter is sorted. The guy who you gave the number 4. Yes, they'll have to work around the bowling, but I don't think you can shell out 18 or 14 for him. So they can definitely look to RTM, possibly one of Chahal and Ash, and then try and see if you can also RTM Avesh Khan for that matter, because I think he was good for them.
See, I think maybe Parag is more than Chahal in terms of money, right? So how about this, guys? And again, Rajasthan Royals, even though they literally died their way across to the playoffs and made it and then knocked out RCB, they finished third. So they have literally shown why they should retain potentially 5 to 6 names. So again, I'm thinking out loud: 18 Sanju, 14 Jaiswal, 11 Chahal, 18 then again Joss, because Joss is just Joss. 14, you'd probably go for Parag. Make sense? Because
no, but 75 crores on them is too expensive.
I know. Because right now, if we take our minds back 10 minutes ago, we were just discussing Patidar's value, right? And Nick said, I don't think he'll go above 10 or 11. But Parag's
more valuable than Patidar.
Parag, gun all-rounder. Yeah. Young all-rounder, gun
Parag's got brand value. Someone will look. Parag will be looked at as future captain for some of these teams. I'm telling you.
But is he? So in all your mind, you're saying Parag is 14 crore plus as a player.
I love Butler. I'm a huge Butler fan, but I cannot justify retaining Butler for 18. So that makes it sure. That makes it. I mean, I don't justify either Butler or Parag for 18 crores. So that makes it. That means I have only 3 choices. Sanju and Jaiswal will have to be retained. So I've got only 1 slot left. I love Joss, but you have alternatives for Joss Butler. I'm not saying you don't have alternatives for Parag, but then you've invested all this time in Rian Parag. For you to let him go right now would be stupidity. Butler, if you don't get, worst case, you don't get, you can buy him, you can buy alternatives. You've got Jax, you've got someone like Salt, you've got so many of these top order foreign
one thing here. What about Samson and Jaiswal, both 18 crores? So it can be Samson, Butler, then Parag at 11, and then you go for Jaiswal again at 18.
I don't want to spend 63, man. Yeah, I agree, but I don't see 63. The problem is spending 63.
I say that easily. I don't want to spend 75. I don't want to spend 63, man. But it's money and it's players and it's great players, Anirudh.
They are, but you know that Butler is not going for 18, right? You know that
Butler's 14. Butler's been retained here at 14.
But you have the option to keep Jaiswal at 14. Why would you give him 18? And end of the day, your money is going. Right? I understand you're just splitting it.
You get to hold on to both of them.
No, but unfortunately, I would rather.
I'm saying for the 18 crores, I'm just saying hypothetically, which you've extra spent here, I think I can get 11 crores Butler and 7 crores Ashwin. Hypothetically, if I don't get Ashwin, I will get. I have to worst case pay 8 crores for Ashwin. He won't go more than that. So
I'd be very surprised if Butler goes for only 11. To be
11, 12, man. I don't see more.
Like he can be a potential captain.
But he has not been a good captain. I mean.
No, but if you guys agree with me or not, RR will miss Chahal more than Butler next year.
No, I don't think so.
You think Butler's still going to be mad explosive for the next 2-3 years?
see the thing with Butler
Neither
and
will
Chahal
Chahal be.
comparison
Both of them
is
are unfortunately declining assets. As harsh as it sounds, it's extremely harsh. I know the standards are so high for both of them. Both of them are IPL greats, and both of them had outstanding seasons. But the cold, harsh truth is both are declining assets. You cannot spunk a combined 75 crores on those five players because you've got three guns in Samson, Yashasvi, and Parag who you want to keep. But I don't want to spend another 32. What I do is I keep Sandeep Sharma for 4. It gives me a lot of flexibility. in production.
Don't like the reason I say Sandeep Sharma, I'm not saying he's not worth 4 crores. He's definitely worth 4 crores, but I'd much rather take that RTM card instead of Sandeep Sharma and use it.
That
on
you
a
can.
very
That's a
simple
choice. That's a
target.
choice. I agree. You can, even if 5 crores max, Sandeep will go 5. So you bid the 5, but keep
Exactly.
the RTM card.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah,
100%.
okay. Yeah, I forgot. about
Because
that. Yeah, fair enough.
Hetmeyer,
But then
I'd rather
Sandeep
go.
falls under uncapped. So retaining him you won't lose an RTM card anyway.
You do. It's 6.
You will.
It's a combination. So the sum of retention.
You have only 5 RTM. Yeah, I understand. But the RTM cards, even if you retain Sandeep, can only be used for 2 players. Even if you don't retain Sandeep, can only be used for 2 players. 2 cap players. Yeah,
If you retain
it is.
3 players, you get 3 RTM cards.
You get 3
Simple.
RTM cards, but those 3 RTM cards can only be used for 2 uncapped players, 2 cap
Yeah,
players.
max 5. Max 5.
It's max 5. It is 5. It is 100% 5. Read through it.
So even
Max
with
5
RTM
cap.
cards, you're saying there's a have they mentioned it explicitly? I don't
Yeah.
think that's the case.
It
But
is.
RTM
It
cards
is.
you
It
can go
is.
for anyone.
I
Only
don't know if I can tell,
retention-
but it was clearly mentioned on that website. I'm telling 100% guarantee.
No, to be clear, what the rule states is 5 cap retentions, a maximum of 5 cap retentions and 2 uncapped retentions.
Plus
But
RTM.
with your
It was
RTM
mentioned
cards,
as retention plus RTM.
how? Okay, because I read the rule and we had this chat in the office as well. From what
Can
I
we just
understand,
can we just confirm it right now? Because I generally feel like even in the chat, many people have their own opinion about the RTMs and
I'll
the
just
cap.
get it out.
In the meanwhile, I'll take some of the comments right now. Chahal's declining rate over Butler's declining rate, saying Chandan Ramesh. Ramna Kiran saying Jurel is important for RR. Sure, he deserves retention, else he's going to Nick's
too
price.
expensive. Bhai. RTM के लिए सोच सकते हैं. RTM के लिए सोच सकते हैं, but yeah.
Please,
We're
RR,
not
don't
even talking about Jurel, by the way, who's going to be one of the most expensive Indian players, but that's how good a team they've had.
or Bolt.
Yeah, Bolt, I'm talking about Indian players. I'm taking specifically young Indian players. Jurel, unfortunately, he I don't think he's going to be a Rajasthan Royals player next year.
Yeah,
Okay,
he'll
fair
be
enough.
collateral damage on all of these rules.
Renu, welcome to the chat, saying Sandeep 4 crores. Hetmaya saying Vinod Mahesu.
Exactly.
Also,
Yeah, you can buy him back, RTM.
RTM.
Chahal definitely should be RTM'd.
Yeah, with
And
Chahal has been my concern is the fact that he's just a bowler. Nothing like that's the problem. Like that's where my concern lies. And I know gun bowler. I'm not going to sort of say ki ye nahi, wo nahi, but that's the only reason why someone like an RR could potentially look at Parag over Chahal, even at that 11 crores.
yeah, fair. It just makes you think about the other teams, and that's SRH, which remains with us. We'll confirm that rule in the 12th man segment really quick until you guys find it. Meanwhile, this man's back in the chat because we did block him, but it was a timeout, is what my producer said. So he's back, and he said, "आप मेरी बात सुन नहीं रहे, इसलिए ज़्यादा मैसेज किया." सुन रहा है भाई, सुन रहा है, दो कान है, एक मुंह है. I mean, I was not going to say anything else. Anyway,
I think it's stick English.
One sec. So Priyanshu is confirming Anirudh is right. So Anirudh, just for the benefit of the viewers who missed that whole hullabaloo, can you just tell them what the RTM rule is?
So irrespective whether you retain a player or not, the combination of retention plus RTM is 6. And in that 6, only 5 of them can be capped. 1 has to be uncapped. So the fact of the matter is, if Sandeep Sharma is retained by Rajasthan Royals, they will have 2 uncapped. I mean, on top of retaining 3 players, they'll still have 2 uncapped cards remaining. If they don't retain Sandeep Sharma also, they'll still have only 2 uncapped cards remaining because you've already retained who? Sanju, Yashasvi and Rihanna.
No. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. So basically, RTM cards आपको 2 ही मिलेंगे irrespective of whether you retain Sandeep or not. So in that case, yeah, they are better off than just retaining Sandeep and taking. Because for 4 crores, yeah, he definitely offers that.
Yeah. Okay, finally, last but certainly not least is SRH, of course, finalists of IPL 2024. And what we've gone for is the inevitable names that we think you guys also would think as cricket fans back home. Pat Cummins, of course, Travis Head, Abhishek Sharma, and Heinrich Klaasen. Those will definitely be retained. Uncapped, potentially Nitish Kumar Reddy in terms of what we've liked of him in that last season for them. So let's start with Nick's here because he's been quite little for 5 minutes or so. So Nick's Cummins, Head, Abhishek, and Klaasen. That's like you can't not retain any of them, right? Or can you? Can you get away with Cummins?
That's my only doubt. Can you get away with Cummins, and how much of it is? Can you buy him back? How much do you think he'll again go for? Will he? I mean, the world will be smarter now after a season, and you've seen his role, you've seen the contribution that he makes. Can you possibly just retain 4 and try and use an RTM on him? Because see, Abhishek is a lock, Klaasen is a lock, Head is a lock. So you want to not lose these 3 for sure. Your uncapped is definitely Nitish Kumar Reddy. Hopefully he's not given a cap, so that is also a lock for you. So then I think Cummins is the only guy that you can try and possibly look to buy back, because I don't think Klaasen will come cheap. I don't think Abhishek will come cheap. Or Travis said to buy bhool se bhi nahi aayega cheap. So I think it is that the job is easier for them, because Cummins now is not worth 18. For all it's worth, all the Aussie mentality and everything, not worth 18. And you can, even if he goes to the auction, does jayega, no, it's okay. You can't give him 18 again.
So from that lens, Abhishek Sharma being an Indian is the most valuable player right now on the SRH team. True or false?
Probably second. I think
Second.
Abhishek would want 18. I'd give Head 18 just for the possible value. Or Klaasen 18.
Klaasen 18.
Right.
Slip of tongue. Klaasen 18. 14 for Abhishek Sharma. 11 for Travis Head. Just in that order. And then my opening is also sorted that way.
I have Abhishek at 11 to be honest, but okay. Fair.
Yeah, even I had that. Just one thing to add to Nikhil. I agree that you want to keep all 4 because it's very difficult for you to even let go of one of them. But my dependency of whether I go for the 4th one or not is dependent on whether Nitish Kumar Reddy is a cap player or not. If he's uncapped, I'm okay spending 65 for those 4-5 players, because Nitish is worth more than 4 crores, then you kind of offload whatever extra you're paying in that way. But if Nitish Kumar Reddy is not a cap player, then you have to keep only 3, man, because you cannot spunk. I mean, I know they're so good. You want to keep all of them. You've got your captain, you've got your 2-star, 3-star batters, all of them.
So who are your 3? Who are your 3?
If I'm keeping only 3, Cummins
Klaasen
has to
and
go,
Abhishek.
boss. Cummins has to
Yeah,
go.
I agree.
Cummins
I'm
is gone already.
Yeah, Cummins, we're not debating.
Cummins
Then
already
tell
gone.
me. Move
Yeah,
on.
then
Klaasen-
Klaasen hit Abhishek. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Klaasen hit
Okay.
Abhishek. That's it.
And Nitish Kumar,
And-
if he doesn't get capped, then you'll retain him at 4.
If he doesn't get capped, then I'm retaining Cummins and Nitish Kumar Reddy. So because I'll be able to keep 5 for 65 crores, right? If I retain 4 cap players and Nitish for 4 crores, I'd be able to keep Nitish. I'd be able to keep all of the 5 for 65 crores combined. Whereas if
So
I've
one
only
thing-
got
Yeah, I mean, you finish your point.
says if I keep Nitish Kumar Reddy as an uncapped player, then I keep him only for 4 crores. Then I'm okay retaining all the 4 big names and Nitish Reddy for 65 combined, because that'd be the sum value of total. And but then at the same time, if Nitish is capped in the next couple of weeks, then if that's the case, I want to get Nitish Reddy back and a bunch of other players as well. I need to build an entire squad, right? Then I'm keeping only 3 and hoping that Cummins, I can buy him back somehow in the auction.
I'm letting go of Cummins irrespective, to be honest, because
I knew you'd
18
do that.
crores,
I knew.
Yeah, first of all, 18 crores not too sure, and secondly, availability is going to be a big issue. Yeah, he's Australia's all-format captain. कहाँ तुम expect कर रहे हो कि वो आएगा? वो I mean all-format as in sorry, not T20s, but he can test खेल रहा है.
हाँ,
There's
Santosh,
going
but
to be
realistically, he's going to be
WBC.
capped. I
Exactly.
think Nitish is going to be capped. So I don't think we'll have to worry about that. I think they'll have to just choose whether.
No, but
they go for
irrespective,
full
I
retention
don't
or
think it's a smart move. Like Cummins is never going to play 3 consecutive seasons, and if that's going to be the case, there's no point, taking 18 crores out of your purse.
But that's where the IPL rule comes in, right? That's where the rule of the IPL comes in, where like, they said that you have
So
to.
let someone else bear the brunt of it. Like, why should SRH? SRH are better off, having the foresight and not going for him. Instead,
But
search for him.
that's the problem. They'll have to find a captain. It's a difficult thing. They build the brand value and all that, right? Cummins, end of the day, is an Australian captain.
brand value नहीं build हुआ है.
Not
Yeah,
that
they'll
much, but
figure it out. I
it's
think I'm with
success.
Akshay on this. Because the fact that Cummins plays so much cricket, I don't know how it really sits with him, let alone the franchise, in terms of whether he'll be available and
Just
all
one
of that stuff.
suggestion then. So if that is the case, you can possibly give Head in Klaasen 18. That is sorted. You keep Abhishek at 14 and another guy at 14 and give Cummins 11. If at all you want to, if at all you
Well,
get capped.
Cummins and
Cummins for
Peter,
11 is But then
He won't
if you
agree.
want, and that's the only way. I don't think Cummins the mind.
But they even then outside these four guys, they don't even have to play for 11 or 14. Who out of who
Yeah,
you?
But
exactly.
guys,
Right. So I'm
I
saying
mean,
if you want
is
to
it
go down that
also
route,
right to just assume that these cricketers are going to be unhappy with 3-4 crores going their way? I mean, they'll take a hit, dude. It's
अरे
No, I
fine.
don't think so.
भाई पैसा
It's a
पैसा है
thing.
भाई 3-4
Yeah.
करोड़
Because
की बात
hey,
नहीं है वो.
so much money. It's like 14 crores, 11 crores. It's not big of a difference.
No, it is a
It's
big
more
difference.
on paper value,
20%,
right? I'm sure they can be
20%.
even compensated under the table, but it's more on face value. You get this much. That matters,
And
right? Because your future value in everything else is also determined that way.
also, just to sort of address this Chandan's point. So Chandan Cummins is going to be playing every test that happens, no matter what, and he's going to be playing a fair few ODIs and T20s. That's not the case with Cam Green. In fact, when we had what was the guy's name, Avnish, on MNL 3-4 episodes ago, who has an Aussie podcast,
Jake J. Kings.
not Jake
Jake
G
J.
Kings, not Jake
Oh,
G Kings.
Manners. Cricket
Winners.
Unfiltered.
Yeah, even he spoke about the fact that Cam Green has always been wrapped in cotton wool for a reason, because they always ensure that he's not playing enough games. So I'm pretty sure that way Pat Cummins won't have that luxury, especially with Test cricket. And there's going to be a WTC final every alternate year, and the year there's no WTC final, then there's more often than not going to be Ashes. So, kya
and then
fayda?
there is Champions Trophy also.
Would
They
you
might
would
want
you
to
think
preserve
the
it.
would you think the right to match someone like Markram is just a captaincy option or no?
आपको माकरम
If
बहुत
It
ऐसा
belongs to the value.
Cummins goes. I'm saying if Cummins goes from SRH, which we're all kind of clear upon, do you look at anyone in the
I don't
Cummins
think it's
squad?
clear. I think eventually they're going to keep all four. I think irrespective, it's too difficult. They'll keep Cummins, is my perspective. I think they'll keep all four. They will overpay and they'll keep, is my perspective.
That's a bit too much, and to be honest, but ठीक है,
I
हो
agree.
सकता है.
I won't do it, but I think they'll do. There'll be one franchise who almost are forced to do it because the captain is the one who is most expendable, but at the same time, how do you expend the captain?
बस एक ही चीज करना है डैन विक्टोर यार, प्लीज आरसीबी के खातिर इतना हमने शायद तुझको ग्लेन फिलिप्स को छोड़ दे, और एंडी फ्लावर मोबो, बट तुम प्लीज देख लो, ग्लेन फिलिप्स को ले लो प्लीज. हाथ जोड़ता हूँ, पैर पड़ता हूँ, ग्लेन फिलिप्स को ले लो प्लीज.
You know what? Sunrisers will be involved in an auction tomorrow, the SA20 auction. So Kavya Maran will be in that. So let's see how she will use that as a dress rehearsal for the IPL auction. But she will have a lot of fun in terms of using her RTMs and so on and so forth. But you guys have been
Just to take
splendid.
Trace's comment as well, it's October 31st.
31st.
Okay, yeah, October 31st. Scary time, Halloween day indeed. Right, so pretty much that's what we've gone for in terms of what we think of what the 10 teams will do with their retentions. Just to recap, of course, what we spoke about, CSK and, of course, DC, so on and so forth. And I'm not going to get into it because we're really, really strapped for time right now. Finally, because it's MNL tradition, best of the rest. Right, I've just nonchalantly kicked Anirudh out of the show, but we really appreciate your time, Anirudh. Little fellas, join him on his Twitter. And let's quickly talk about the best of the rest. I want to just throw a few points really quickly in. First is terrific work yet again from the BCCI. We were supposed to go there to cover this new NCA, which is, of course, in the outskirts of Bangalore. Real quick one for me. It's absolutely brilliant what they're coming up with it. I know England have a center in Loughborough. Australia have one in Brisbane. We are now getting in Bangalore. And Bangalore, the Chinnaswamy is home the NCA for a while. They're going to phase it out. They've had this project in the pipeline for years, but it's good to see that they're getting a lot of pitches, sports science department, so on and so forth. So it's brilliant to notice that. England versus Australia. Nix, I'll just come to you here. The final ODI. I mean, again, we saw what England were doing, losing wickets throughout, but still maintaining their run rate. Is there any indication of what's there to come from both those teams into the Champions Trophy, or again, it's just a one-off series?
I mean, that series had Travis had bowling the second last or the penalty mid over, Manas Labuschagne bowling in the end over. So I don't know how much of that can be read into in terms of tactics. But the two players that I was very, very happy for are Travis Head and Harry Brook. I think Travis Head had an absolute ball of a series. So that was good for him. And Harry Brook, I think we all want to see a lot more of Harry Brook. So irrespective of what they say, I think we should just not listen to England players outside of the matches, because their post-match quotes are hilarious. But their on-field game, the ton that also he missed, but the ton that he got, I think both of them are very good knocks to view. And Baki to, yeah, a lot of changes have happened. but Stark was expensive again. So some things don't change.
Yeah, there's lots to talk about, but we will, of course, just keep it short because we're way over time in terms of the MNL. But if you guys are Australian fans, well done. 3-2 win against the old enemy. It doesn't get better than that. Other news which was making the rounds this week was, of course, Bangladesh's squad. Let's just quickly show that because Shakib's not there. Ahmedi's come back in. And it also makes you think about Rishad Hussain, how he's going to be, of course, playing in India for the first time, and the rest of the names, as you can see. Sri Lanka, New Zealand, them keeping their WTC hopes alive, and how brilliant stuff from, of course, the experienced batters. Chandimal now, again, scoring 100 against every test opposition. I think Chandimal, Matthews, and who else? Karuratne, they all have 16 tons equally. So good on them. New Zealand, if they've lost to Sri Lanka away next 2-0, is it a 3-0 that they're going to be facing against India in a month's time or in 15 days' time?
I mean, those were actually very scary signs. I was relatively happier in the first test from New Zealand's POV, but second test, boy, they were properly blasted by Sri Lanka. I mean, I don't remember the last time you had a lead of over 500 in the subcontinent and then having to enforce a follow-on. So again, I expected Prabhat Bhai to do his job, and he did his job to aplomb. Lessons for Jadeja to take into, but New Zealand, I'm very keen to see how the top order bats versus India, because see, Philip scored runs, Blunden got some runs, Rachin Ravindra got some good runs, so that is good. But their top order, again, Latham Kane, they got a few runs here and there, but against India, I am very excited to see the squad India put out and now India play against them. But things don't look good, and hopefully India will not lose wickets to Ajaz Patel. That is all that I'm asking for. Pass. And no Kohli, Virat Kohli, LBW with inside edge and pad together. Pass. That is all on my bingo list.
Yeah, I keep thinking about that one still. But yeah, speaking of Prabhat Jayasuriya, he's leading the wicket charts in terms of tests in this year. And speaking of the other Jayasuriya, the coach, I think he's got an extension of a 1 year because he's doing great things with that team. Finally, before we head into Akshay's quiz, and it's an IPL themed one this week, what's to watch? Plenty of cricket, of course. Day 5 tomorrow, we'll be doing the review show tomorrow, so catch us for that. Wednesday, Ireland, South Africa is going on as well. We won't talk about that too much, but we will, of course, in the next MNL, because that series does spill over till then. And then the 3rd, which is a Thursday, it is all the Women's World Cup action in Bangladesh, Scotland, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Is the couple of games you can watch on that. And then, of course, even the weekend has some brilliant games. Speaking of which, there is, of course, the CPL final next MNL. We'll be talking about all of it. We're heading into the elimination stages tonight. So good luck with all the CPL viewing. But enough said of the best of the rest. Let's go and win some prizes in terms of the Howzzat. Right, last week Akshay had an absolute brilliant one, which I thought I got right, but I was wrong. But did anyone win it, Akshay Kumaraswamy?
Yeah, there were actually a couple of them. So clearly our audience knows their cricket. So the question, of course, was fairly simple. Australia is currently in the middle of a 14-match ODI streak. What is the longest winning streak in the history of ODI cricket? A lot of you, of course, thought it is the men's side, with the 21-match streak, but it isn't. It's the Australian women's side that have come up with a much, much better haul. They had a streak of 26 consecutive ODI wins that lasted from 2017 to 2021 before Team India broke it in a thrilling super over finish in 2021 down under. So that was the right answer last week. And of course, there were 3 or 4 of you who got it right, but only one lucky winner gets their hands on an Amazon voucher from us. And the winner this time around is Prasad Samhadri. So congratulations on winning it. Please make sure you DM us on Twitter, and our social media team will do the rest. Coming to this week's Howzzat, there you go. Given that there's so much chat going around our team cards and whatnot, I thought usi ke upar rakhte hain. Our team cards have been available in only 2 previous auctions, and only 1 player in the history of IPL has been bought via an RTM card on both occasions. Who is it? Kafi simple, kafi straightforward. Baki aap samajhdar ko क्या है समझदार को इशारा है काफी जो भी बोलते हैं बोल लेते हैं but of course very simple. And once again guys, please make sure you wait for the live stream to end. Do not enter your answers in the live chat. Each and every one of you, all the 80-90 odd watching on YouTube and the nearly 150 odd watching on Twitter, hop on to YouTube, make sure you wait for the live stream to end, hit the like button, and then in the main comment section, enter your answers. Who do you think is the only player in the history of IPL to have been bought via an RTM card on both occasions? And you stand to win a cool 500 rupee Amazon voucher from us. So that's that from this week's Howzzat.
Yeah, brilliant. And I like how our good old designer Manish has just changed the spelling of Howzzat. He's gone for Howzzat, which is evident in that graphic over there. Guys, it's been a terrific show. All you lovers of the MNL podcast, shout out to all of y'all. The new listeners, please check us out on Spotify as well and give Nikhil Popar a follow. He is a man predicting cricket 24/7 at Crazy Nicks. Go check him out. And of course, Akshay for some incredible opinions on Twitter and Instagram as well, with all the hearts being sent out to you. We did speak about a various bunch of things and we've enjoyed our time in doing so. Thanks so much for joining us in MNL. And you know what? There's plenty of shorter content that you guys can enjoy as well, such as...
Let me play a game with you, okay? You tell me which is your favorite Indian cricketer right now.
MS Dhoni.
MS Dhoni.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dhoni or Virat?
Dhoni.
Dhoni or Rohit?
Dhoni.
Dhoni or Bumrah?
Dhoni.
भाई यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा भाई ये कहाँ फंस गया भाई मैं
Dhoni or CSK? आएगा मजा खेल का
Dhoni.
Dhoni or India?
Dhoni.
Dhoni or your life?
Dhoni.
खत्म
Subscribe to cricket.com.
Dhoni.
Something that you guys might like, of course. And Akshay is not going to be happy with what I'm going to tell him right now. Neither is Nix, because we've forgotten one segment of the show, which is called 12th Man. Right. I don't know how I'm going to StreamYard this, but I just picked few questions, which has gone way above. There's one coming in from RC24 Edit, who, of course, kept asking us this. If MI retain Bumrah, Hardik and Rohit, then RTM on Sky, what's your opinion? Akshay, I'll let you answer this, and then we'll give Nix another one.
Yeah, it's not about MI. Of course, MI would love to be able to do this, but the players themselves should also agree, right? So you're saying someone has to agree at 11. In this case, it'll be Rohit Sharma who will have to accommodate and ensure that he's retained at 11 crores. Why will he do that when he knows he can easily expect nearly 2x the amount at the auction? So he will. So simple. So I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay. Anubhav Sarkar asking, what is the purpose of Sam Curran in T20? He doesn't spank the ball and is very economical, stealing an IPL living. Do you agree with that, Nix?
Obviously not, but again, there are things that you see the two sides of Sam Curran. You saw one in the 100, you saw one in the IPL, and then you saw one in the World Cup. So I think with Sam, it's very important to use him rightly. And hopefully, if that is what Ponting also look forward to, then I'm looking forward to it, because if Ponting can't revive Sam Curran's T20 career, then I think it's time. So looking forward to that. I personally don't mind the Sam Curran of the 100, because I think that is very good. Bats at the right spot, comes in only when the conditions require him to. But again, you can always develop. So let's see how that works out.
Okay. And final one comes from Karthik Sisla on Twitter. What do you guys think? Does MI ego issue continue with after leaving this? I mean, it'll be interesting because Ambani will definitely have a chat there. Our best bet is as good as yours, guys. We want to see Rohit in MI colors, but is there a new destination for him? Only time will tell, and that auction will do so as well. That's all we have time for, and I know I keep saying that, but we're promised we've done right now. It's honestly a great show, nearly 2.5 hours. We really need some dinner and a glass of water. Until the next time, join us for all our live shows, and we'll catch you guys soon. See you to Akshay and, of course, Nix and the rest of the guys in the comments. Cheers.